Right, welcome to session 70. So previously, you had finally found Siphon. You had landed in the port of Ghosts, and there you found Carrig and more of the psychopomps. But you also found that arriving guests, which were dead from up above. And as you kind of went around talking to people, getting the lay of the land, a uh, a raiding party arrived. The Dreadkin had arrived to raid the city, and in order to expedite the process of you getting into the city, you decided to help the Carrig out and to help rebuff the raiding party. On the other hand, you were very careful to make sure that all the Dreadkin were killed in order to avoid them reporting back that you had helped in that process. And once that had occurred, Cyclonin had decided taken Conglomerate and left to go somewhere else, while the rest of you got a room and took a long rest. Cyclonin returned back to the weird Carrig, that was selling the Cephas mask, just to find out that unfortunately he just had the one, and they were able to buy another mask they think is useful, but not able to get the Cephas mask. And then he decided to find a nice island, use his magic to make it comfortable to sleep, and they took a long rest as well. And you found that once you went to sleep, you had slept like the dead. You'd woken up. You're not sure exactly how much time has passed, although you're pretty sure it's at least 8 hours, if not longer. However, you do get the full benefit of the long rest. So, Cyclonin, you are on your island, and you find for some reason that you wake up, you're rested, but the strange thing is you are on the ground. Your illusion is nowhere to be seen. So, what do you do?
Hmm. I'm gonna go find the vendor since this was that same island.
Okay. My understanding is you kind of sailed off to find another island to make your thing, so you're just gonna go back. I know you didn't go very far, so you're just gonna head right back.
I kind of ultimately decided as long as it had some flattish spot, I was just gonna do an extension off of it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll take you to the map. Caves, islands. I think everybody will be able to see the map, but only Cyclonin and Conglomerate are there. Someday.
I guess it's loading for me.
Yep. However, I don't see your token. Oh, there you are. Okay, you guys just are up ahead. That's fine. All right, so you got out of the boat and you're heading to the vendor. All right. So I'm going to leave Conglomerate in the boat for now. You can go ahead and head off.
All right.
All right, so you go and you eventually you find the cave. Let me go ahead and set you up here. And once you do, you enter. I'm going to delete that splatter because it's old. It's gone now. All right. So you see the spirits, and you approach the vendor. So did Conglomerate go with you, or did he stay in the boat where I put him?
It's fine for him to stay at the boat.
All right. So you return, and the Carrick looks up and he says, "Welcome back. What can I help you with?"
There was an illusionary. There was an illusionary landmass outside last night, and it is gone this morning. Well,
Ah,
it is gone now.
that must be the work of the psychopomps. They they tend to dispel such things when they see them. Keep the place clean. Prevent too much change.
As if a temporary illusion was so permanent.
He
So there's
shrugs. I do not understand them myself, but they are rather aggressive in such things.
creatures that claim to mean no harm. They certainly seem to be dead set on killing me.
He shrugs. I'm afraid I'm not much else I can say, but I would be weary about doing such things around them, or at least, well, let's just say I'm glad that there was solid ground beneath you.
Yes, I had planned for that, but I was hoping it wasn't so likely that it would disappear. Well, thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome. Would you like to buy a mask?
Well, unfortunately, you do not have the mask that I need, and I do not have the resources to purchase one at this point. So perhaps in the future, if we can bring back some of these. What is this material you need for the masks?
The Cephas ore. However, I had forgotten to mention one detail before that you may find good news. In Siphon, I believe there's a merchant there who might have a Cephas mask for sale.
Well, that is good to know, although I suppose he's probably going to want something other than a boat.
He shrugs. I don't know how much he charges.
Well, thank you. I tip my hat to you.
And he nods.
Alright. Cyclona goes ahead and walks off, kind of grumbling to himself.
All right, fair enough. All right, I'll go ahead and put you on the ground real quick. Or outside, I guess. All right, go ahead. All right, so anything else you do on the islands before you leave?
Probably not. Well, conglomerate, it appears that this place is conspiring to destroy us. I think I have one last errand that we should run before we reunite with the others. Let us make our way out of this place for the moment.
Okay, so you guys leave. I'm going to go ahead and take you to the boat map for now. All right, so once you leave, where are you going?
Well, let's see. Given where we are, so I'm going to go ahead and catch, because we're actually on an island right near the Anka, right?
Yeah, it's basically on that same map. So I mean, it's like tens of feet away.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sail over to the southern point of Anka and then go due south.
Hello?
Right. Hey, Brosnan.
Hello.
Welcome to the session. So right now, if you remember, Cyclonin had gone off on his own, and everybody had taken long rests. So we're figuring out what's happening with Cyclonin and Conglomerate now, and then we'll go back to you guys in the city. And everybody, as a reminder, make sure to take your long rests if you haven't done so already.
Sounds good.
All right. So you said that you are going to go south. So go ahead and give me your strength checks and your navigation. So for your strength, I'm going to go ahead and roll for Conglomerate. So if you got a 15. All right. So you get a 2. All right, so you go and you start sailing south, but after an hour passes, you find yourself. You can see just in the shadows. You can see one of the islands you just left.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and try it again.
Okay.
So, roll another strength check. A little better.
All right. So a 17 and a 14. All right. So with that, you wind up spending an hour sailing south, and you do actually less than an hour. Um, probably maybe 45 minutes or so. You sail south, and you come across the wall. But you also notice something large approaching you. So let me go ahead and set that up. And it's oriented north because assuming you're in on this map, that up is the direction you're going, regardless of what actual direction you're going on the map. So you can see the form of the benthic eel rising out, up from the darkness. And as it rises up, it looks at you and Conglomerate, and you hear a voice in your head says, "I see you once again. I come because I had a dream of you and yours. Two paths lie before you, one in which you may defeat the Sakahiko while climbing toward the moon, and the other where they become too powerful and meet you in the sunlight." And then it sinks back into the darkness.
Oh, Conglomerate, that went better than I expected.
He agrees. All right, so you've reached the wall. What do you do from there?
All right, following it to the steeps.
Okay, you're following it to the steeps. All right, go ahead and make your rolls. For some reason, I thought you were going to return to Siphon with everybody else.
I'm planning to, but there's a slight change of plans.
All right. Okay, with a 28. Hold on. Sorry, real quick. So that is 1 there. Okay, so another hour passes. So this will be 3 hours so far. And you have not quite got to the steeps yet, but you can definitely see, you're definitely following the wall, so you're pretty sure you're going the right way. And as you travel, you notice this column of cold air bursting from below. You can feel the frost and freezing drizzle rains down upon you. So you and Conglomerate, go ahead and give me Constitution saves.
All right, time for my usual failure.
Saving throw. All right, so both you and Conglomerate fail. You find yourselves freezing cold, and as you try to sail through it, you both gain 1 level of exhaustion.
Of course, because nothing can go right in this place, Conglomerate.
Of course not. All right, so what do you do?
Keep following the wall.
All right, so you and Conglomerate, give me your strength checks. You don't have to worry about the navigation because you're following the wall.
Let's see. That has to be rolled at disadvantage.
Oh, yeah, huh? All right, let me do that for him. I didn't do that right then. All right, so a 6 and a 9. So another hour passes, but unfortunately, you do not make much progress. However, the weather warms up, and the freezing drizzle seems to move off a different direction. So that'd be 4 hours. So what's next? You try again?
Yeah, not much choice.
All right. Okay, with the 15, you manage to. Yeah, you manage to. Actually, no, you still lose ground. I'm sorry. So yeah, you find yourself failing to make progress as another hour passes.
All right, conglomerate. Let's see. What is it that we have at our disposal? Yeah, nothing especially good here. Just gonna go ahead and try and muscle through it.
All right. Okay, 15 and a 21. So after another hour, you finally reach the steeps. All right. Let me take you to the map. Someday, there you go. You've reached the steeps. Everybody can see the map, hopefully, but only Conglomerate and Cyclonin are there. So now that you've reached the steeps, what are you going to do?
Conglomerate, let it be stated for the record that I hate this place. Alright, well, I'm gonna get out of the boat. I'll pull the boat on shore, and I'm gonna go ahead and retrieve 4 more rocks for this place.
Okay. Now, are you retrieving the rocks?
From in the water.
Okay. Fair enough.
Alright, and making sure that they're big enough that I can easily carve on them.
Okay.
Alright, so first item of business. Lauren and I are going to go ahead and get over to the Ankus Watchtower, courtesy of Wild Shape.
All right. Let me take you to the islands. All right. So, what you're turning into a Quetzalcoatlus or something?
Yep,
All right.
probably the easiest way to transport
Fair enough.
conglomerate.
So go ahead. So how long does it take you to get there?
45 minutes.
Okay. All right. You arrive at Anchus Watchtower. It's afternoon, so the sun's shining brightly. In fact, once you left the cave, it actually took you a while to kind of get used to the sun again. It was awfully bright at first. So you've arrived at Anchus Watchtower. So what do you do?
Alright, first item of business. I'm going to try and find the vendor where I bought the navigation tools.
Okay. You find them.
You wouldn't happen to have 4 more sets of these tools, do you?
He says, I do, actually. Let me pull them out for you. Shop. Hold on, let me go ahead and get to the docks. I have the shop stuff. Alright, navigation tools. Where'd it go? Tools. Oh, there it is. Alrighty, so yeah, so the high quality items were okay. So he says these are the last four I have, and I can sell them to you, but they are going to be expensive. It'll be 30 Mithna each.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right. I thought I managed to get a pair that was worth 100 from this guy.
Oh, sorry. I meant to say 30 gold Mithna each. So basically 3 times the price.
You know, it is quite the racket.
I could make you a deal. I could give you the first one for 10 gold Mithna, and then give you the other 3 for 30. But mainly because normally I can get rather good prices for these. Where certain folks will be coming into, I expect to be coming into town soon. So that's about the best I can deal, though.
And very well, I will take one set of them.
Okay, so you pay 10 gold Mithna, and it gives you the high quality navigation tools.
Alright. I am going to go look now for a vendor who sells heavy coats and blankets.
Okay. Sure. So you find a vendor that sells basically traveling supplies, and they would sell that kind of thing. So you can see various blankets and rolls and whatnot. So you arrive and says, "How can I help you, sir?"
I'd like to purchase 5 heavy coats and 5 blankets.
Very well. That will be a half Mithna per blanket. Sorry, 5 Mithna per blanket. I seem to be having trouble with conversions today. And 5 Mithna per coat.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give them, so it's like 30 Mithna total for the blankets.
Okay.
So I'm going to give them 60 half Mithna to pay for those. And then you said it was 5 Mithna each for the coats?
Yeah.
So it's again 30, so I guess I got to give them another 60 half Mithna for that. So, let's see, 7. Alright, so I go ahead and, yeah, get the heavy coats as well. So I pay them it's 120 half Mithna total.
Okay.
Alright. This will have to do. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and hand Conglomerate a coat and a blanket.
Which he
You may
takes.
want to put this on. We still need to warm up from that experience of earlier.
He takes it. All right. Hopefully these items are here. Items. Blanket. Yep. And then coat. Jacket. Clothes. I'll just do traveling clothes and just rename it. All right. So he takes the items, puts them on. You can add them to your inventory as well. They actually do have blankets. For the I just did traveling clothes and renamed it heavy coat for the heavy coat, so you can do that if you want.
Okay.
So the weight should be about the same as those things, so we won't worry about that too much.
Okay, so it should be under what, items SRD?
Yeah. So yeah, search for blanket, drag it over, search for traveling clothes, drag it over and rename. And just leave the weights as they are.
Whoops. Okay.
Are you doing any other shopping?
I think that is it for the shopping.
Okay. So close that.
And then the blanket. A festive color.
So what I will say is now that you've gotten out in the sun and you've warmed up a bit, I'll say that the exhaustion was temporary, so you regain that exhaustion. It was basically from being freezing cold.
Alright.
So you're back to zero exhaustion or whatever.
Well, that is good news. Actually, I guess I do have one other little bit of shopping. Conglomerate. Before we head back, why don't we have a good meal?
Yeah, he definitely heartily agrees.
Alright, so yeah, I'll go ahead and hit the tavern.
All right, you go to the tavern and you you can see that it's moderately busy, and as you enter, a waitress comes over and shows you to a table and asks, "What can I get for you?"
Yeah, 2 hearty breakfasts and probably 2 tankards of mead.
Very well. That will be 3 Mithna.
Alright, so I go ahead and pay out 6 half Mithna.
Okay. So it takes a while to get your food and drink and to eat it. So is there anything else you're doing other than just eating and talking?
Just chat with Conglomerate and grumble about all the crap that is Ermanig.
Fair enough.
He will probably hear me say, did I mention that I hate this place? Quite a few times.
Fair enough.
Well, I'll say that place. I don't want them to think I'm complaining about the tavern.
All right. Yeah,
I hate dragons.
I think you get the impression, based on what I've seen in previous sessions, that Conglomerate doesn't hate it nearly as much as you do.
Yeah.
All right, so half an hour passes. You have a good meal. So what do you do next?
All right, once that's done, Conglomerate and I will leave town and head back over to the Steeps.
Okay, so you can go ahead and move and tell me how long it takes.
It's probably going to be another 45 minutes.
All right, so
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4 this time, since I did 5 last time. All right, so you get into the steeps. I'm not going to make you go through the whole process of crawling through. So you take another, 10 minutes to get back to the boat.
It'll be a little bit longer than that. I am going to need an hour.
Okay,
So
so I'll
what
subtract 10 minutes and then add an hour. So what are you doing during that hour?
So once we get to the Steeps, I'm going to go ahead and take a short rest to reset my wild shapes. And I'm going to turn into an earth elemental and burrow probably somewhere underneath where I left those big eggs.
Okay.
I'm basically going to try to set up a good place underground to leave most of my equipment.
Okay, fair enough.
So in that cavity, I'm basically going to go ahead and leave all the non-essential stuff. I'll worry about putting that list together a bit later, but suffice to say, I'm only going to take with me my divine gear and anything that is absolutely critical for casting spells or just
And I'm
kinda
assuming
get
you're
by.
taking water and rations and all that with you as well.
Yeah, those would be the essentials.
Okay. All right, so it takes you a bit to do that. So another 10 minutes passes. You make your tunnel and put your stuff down. So what do you do next?
Once all that is done, it's like, well, Conglomerate, it is time to again descend into hell. and start making my way over to um, the entryway into Ermanig.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take you back to the boat map for now. But before we go on, is there anything you do before you leave, before you get in the boat and leave the steeps?
There shouldn't be.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so you are no longer exhausted. You are at the entrance where the steeps are. So where do you go from there?
All right, so first item of business is that should work pretty well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and use my my rock for the Shore of Siphon and as a spell component, and I am going to cast Find the Path to Siphon.
Okay, you do so, and you get a fairly direct beacon north by northeast.
Shouldn't that be north by northwest?
Yes, it should. I got it backwards.
Okay. All right, so start by following the wall, obviously, but I am going to specifically try to stop at Anka on the way.
Okay, so you are aiming to stop on. Okay, fair enough. All right.
But that'll only be really brief. You don't even have to go to the map for that, as long as I actually get there.
Yep, fair enough. Since you are following the beacon and the wall, I'm going to say you don't need to make navigation checks. You still need to make strength checks, though. You no longer have disadvantage, so it's just normal. Okay, with a 20, you spend an hour and you get about a mile progress. Not as fast as you can go, but at least you weren't stuck with no progress. As you travel, let me make sure this is true. Yeah, nothing happens as you travel. So, what do you do? You're still along the wall.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and keep following it
Okay, fair enough.
until it separates away.
Okay, so you got a 11 and a 12. So that is enough to get another mile, which is just barely enough to get to Anka once again. Is there anything specific you're doing at Anka, or are you just wanted to make sure to pass through?
I am recovering 4 additional rocks from that island.
Okay, you do so. You can just add them to your inventory. We don't need to switch maps for that.
Yep, that's what I was figuring. Okay, and now, without further ado, we'll go ahead and just start trying to power through to Siphon.
Yep, fair enough. So again, you are following the beacon, so no navigation is needed. So just make your strength check.
Alright.
You and Conglomerate are sure getting a workout. Fortunately, Conglomerate did most of the work this time, and you don't make as much progress as you could, absolutely, but at least you make progress. All right.
Oh wait, credit him for having 4 arms.
Let me go ahead and mark that. All right. So I'm assuming you're going to continue.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that really tired out Conglomerate, and you're still fairly tired. So you spend another hour and don't really make much progress.
Take a brief little break and then try again.
All right. So he powers through again, and so do you. And so you actually make a lot of progress that time, more than normal. And as you're traveling, you can see off at the edge of your vision, you can see at least half a dozen cave drakes flying around in the path roughly in the direction you're going, looking for food. So what do you do?
Well, we never did get rid of these white crabs. Let us go ahead and give them something to eat. So, basically, just have Conglomerate and I go ahead and launch things kind of off to the side, but where they can see the crabs.
Oh, I see. So you're launching the crabs and hoping to go after the crabs. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So you launch the crabs. How many crabs do you launch?
How many of those creatures are there?
It looks like about a half dozen.
Yeah, we'll just throw all of them.
Okay, so you can see as you kind of launch the crabs, the cave drakes notice, and they kind of just dive past you, ignoring you after the crabs, leaving you space to continue. So go ahead and make a strength check. Okay, Conglomerate does pretty well.
I do pretty
Unfortunately, you do not. You make a little bit of progress. It's not quite zero, but it's definitely not as much as normal. So another hour passes. All right, and nothing else happens as you're going. You've left the cave drakes behind. The weather is fairly normal. So Conglomerate tries to power through, getting a 10. You get a 17, so you make a modest amount of progress. Nothing happens again, so Conglomerate continues to try to power through. He does a really good job this time, but so do you, and so you make a lot of progress. You can start to see the ridges rising up out of the darkness, so you know that you're getting close. One good more push, and you'll probably get there. So let's see how that goes.
Not much further, Conglomerate.
You do make it, just barely. So you are back. All right, so now we're gonna go back to everybody else. So it is 11:30 at night by the time you guys get back. All right, so that means everybody else. I'm just gonna mark down that it's 11:30 when they return, and I'm gonna reset back to 8, which is what it is for you guys. 8 in the morning. Oops. And load up the map where everybody else is. If I can find it, there it is.
All right, I guess we have all day.
So I will be right back while the map is loading to deal with the dog. Alright, sorry about that, everyone. So, go ahead and return. So the rest of you wake up. You two find that once you went to sleep, you slept for an indeterminate amount of time and woke up at least 8 hours later, regardless of when you intended to get up. But now that you are up, what do you do?
Well, it looks like Cyclonin is not back with Conglomerate yet. I suppose we'll wait for a message.
Okay. a message from who you're expecting a message?
From Cyclonin. Either he will return or we will realize that he is no longer among the living.
Fair enough. You can tell he is still alive. So, what do you do next?
Hmm. I'm gonna come out and see if I can find anybody else from the ancient temple. I remember seeing some people's
So yeah, as you
before
come
the
out,
attack.
you can see that a new group of people. These people weren't here yesterday, so they clearly arrived over the night or in the morning. You don't see anybody from the ancient temple, at least not out here. The psychopomp sees you walk by, and he kind of waves at you and nods. You can see his big giant beak nodding up and down. And he says, well, thank you for everything you did last night. You,
Of course.
I have a message for you.
Yes.
And he hands you a scroll.
Go ahead and open it.
So in the scroll, you see some bird-like writing. But it basically tells you that you have been granted entrance into the city. And there is a group of guests that will be ushered in later today. And you and your group will be among them. It says that they will be ushered in at noon. Which might surprise you a little, because so far this is the first time you've ever heard any of these people down here give a specific time for anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't really have reference of time. My compatriots, they are not yet back. Will they be allowed entry later if they do not arrive during this entry?
He looks at you and he says, perhaps they will likely be allowed entry the next time guests are allowed in.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yes.
Could you show me your scroll?
Go ahead and open it up.
He points at where it says noon, and he says, I don't know what that says, but apparently it's something that you will understand. There is something that helps guests along who are used to the way things are tracked in their world, and it is there for your benefit. But if you ask Carrig or one of us what it is, we won't know.
I understand. I still cannot tell time.
For us, we know that they're going in a moderate amount of time.
Well, thank you very much. Just kind of taking a quick glance around the new group here.
You do. Most of them look fairly normal. You'll notice that some of the bigger icons don't match the smaller icon. Sorry about that. I'm not going to fix it for these guys. But you do notice one of them is a nymph, and it's one of the nymphs that, in fact, that you guys killed.
Does she just look confused, or does she recognize me?
Go ahead and give me a whatchamacallit, not inspection, insight check. Yep, she recognized you. She tried to hide that she recognized you, but it didn't work on you.
Oh, I suppose. I mean, there's no real point. We're in the land of the dead, right?
Right.
Very carefully walk around and
She,
gently take a seat on the bench next to her and say, "Well, hello again."
again, have we met?
We have. How
All
are
right.
you finding this place?
Well, we had a little bit of tension up there, some issues, but um, we can leave that up there, right?
Yeah, of course. That's what we are here now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. Where are we though?
Um,
All I
let me ask,
know
where do
is
you
I'm
feel you
sure I
are?
died.
Yes, okay, good. You are much further along than several other guests here. Yes, this is the land of the dead.
Are you
And I
dead
can
too?
just
You,
not quite.
you look different than the others, because despite the color and the tokens, all of the guests here that are dead are completely gray. All the color is
Yeah.
bleached away.
Actually, I look very similar except for my glowing tattoos then, don't I?
Yeah. Yeah, if it were Gizzard or Darcy out here, it would be a lot more clear just how different you are. But yeah, you guys are still different, but a lot less different.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and pause you
Well, no,
there.
because of my... Yeah.
Oh yeah, because you have your glowing tattoos, but yeah, everybody else is even more colorful. Um, all right, so Darcy and Gizzard, you came down the stairs as well. You saw Judge kind of go outside. So what are you two doing?
Yeah, I'll go outside too.
I will as well.
All right. Oh, Gizzard, can you actually see the map today?
No, it's the exact same.
I guess
Aw.
it's maybe just because of the size of it or something.
Maybe. My laptop isn't exactly the most up to date hardware wise.
Although what's interesting is we've seen other maps of the same size that your computer is able to handle. So I don't know. Anyway, you
Yeah.
go outside and you can see the blue orb and the purple fire underneath it, providing light. You probably can't see it, but there's actually a light here, and it's the light that this area is where it allows you to breathe normally. Because outside of it, it seems like even though you're above the water, the air in Siphon outside of these areas seems to be like the air a little bit like the air underneath and you see a judge sitting on a bench talking to a nymph. You recognize her as one of the nymphs that you guys had killed before. So what do you do? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
I'm gonna walk up to Judge and see what he's up to.
Okay. So you go up to Judge, and he's talking to the nymph. Judge, you notice Gizzard approaching.
And I just kind of wave. Gizzard, hello. And I did not quite catch your name before. If you would be so kind now.
Arethusa, the nymph says.
Er-
I'll make it visible to you guys. Covered by anyone.
Arethusa. Mr. Gizzard. This is Arethusa. Arethusa? Mr. Gizzard. We've met before, but under less auspicious circumstances.
She nods at you two, Gizzard. You see she flinches a little bit as she gets introduced.
Hello.
Hello.
She
Gizzard.
flinches. Is there some insight or some arcana there? Is there power of names over nymphs?
You doubt it. It's most likely she's flinching because Gizzard was there and helped kill her. So,
Okay.
And the other reason she's probably flinching is that Gizzard is very colorful. So it's very obvious that Gizzard is not like the others. So it's probably a lot more obvious that he's not dead.
All right. Yeah, because Judge has that pallor from the Shallowfell, but yeah, his glowing tattoos kind of break that up.
Yep. And what are you doing, Darcy? Doing circles, looking at everybody?
Yeah, pacing, also seeing if she recognizes any of the other dead.
Yeah, so other than the nymph and, of course, the psychopomps from yesterday and the Carrig, you don't recognize anybody else. And you see that there were a couple of people, ancient-looking people, but they're not in this group. So you saw them yesterday, but you don't know where they are today.
Do any of the other newcomers besides the imp, are they all kind of still dazed and confused?
Yeah, it seems like the nymph is probably the most, or the most acclimated. But the other people look like they're mostly just normal humans, despite this guy's wardrobe. They're mostly normal humans, so yeah, they're a lot more confused.
Is this psychopomp sitting on the bench or just nearby it?
He's sitting on the bench. He looks over and says, hello. You might want to talk to your friend over there, and he points at Judge. You've probably got good news, or at least some sort of message.
I do.
Well, all of you do, but he received it, and he points at Judge again.
Alright, so it's gonna go over there. While he's, I guess, speaking to the nymph, she's going to interject because, again, she probably just like, oh, these are dead people. They aren't important. They've had their time. Judge, there is news you need to share?
Yes, and I pull out the scroll and it's like, we have our ticket into the city of Siphon. We need to obviously wait for Conglomerate and Cyclonin, but it says in this place that doesn't necessarily have a schedule that we shall be entering at noon, but I'm not sure what this means. However, we do have entry into the city, and I believe this group of peoples will be going in with us.
As you're speaking, the psychopomp sticks his big beak over, kind of leans over, and he says, correction, the people in the waiting room will be going with you. These people will spend more time here.
Ah, understood. Where was the waiting room? Over there, that's right.
He points at the building.
I'm gonna go be a snoop and see who's in the waiting room. Doop 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 doop. We're all traveling together.
So you see a room with a nice carpet and chair. You can see that there's multiple plates on a table, and the plates are fruit that look a lot like grapes. and and more doors. Beyond this door, you can hear voices.
Can open all the doors. Look, it's all the storage.
Yep. You see various fruits and seeds and food.
She's gonna try one.
Yeah, you eat one, and then as you munch on it, ever so slowly, you see the fruit that you just took kind of reforming. It tastes good, but you can tell that it's not filling.
This fruit is a lie. She goes over here.
And
Opens
you find
up.
the waiting room. So
Look, there was a storeroom of goodies. You're just like, ooh, don't mind if I do. Never mind, it was a lie.
Fair enough. Yeah, inside you can see one of the ancient people. There's at least one more that you don't see, and then you see various other people that you recognize from that you saw yesterday, that were in the group yesterday. And as you enter, the Karag looks up. Only people who are entering the city today, please. If you are not entering the city today, you can either congregate outside, or you can find a room.
Take note of the peoples. Is this also this one? That's also another nymph.
Yeah.
Does she notice me?
Not at the moment. She seems to be bored, kind of just sitting in a chair waiting. You came in. She probably heard you because you did see her kind of notice the noise, but she didn't bother looking.
Also, I do kind of clip clop around as I got hoofed feet.
Right.
Perpetual heel noises. Close. Leave it open because don't feel like going back. They'll close it if they want it closed.
Fair enough. All right.
Pop a squat.
You head back. So it is currently 8:20, as far as you guys know. You know that you get entrance to the city at noon. Is there anything else you want to do, or do you want to pass the time?
Play music. Be a disturbance.
All right. So as you start playing music, you do.
I was good.
Go ahead. Before she starts playing music, Judge wanted to say something. Go ahead, Judge.
Uh-oh.
As we can hold the conversation. I was. Oh, sorry. But either before or during the music, I was going to try and ask Athusa here about the god she worshipped. That was a question that was left unanswered when everything happened in the land of the living. And I was just gonna, very casually in conversation try and bring up, what was your god again?
You
See if we
notice
could get
that
any
every
information
time,
on that,
you
'cause
try
that
to
was
bring
left
it
a big
up,
question.
she immediately changes the subject. There seems to be some underlying fear there even now.
Try and reassure her. I don't know how well I can do it, but trying to reassure her that this is the land of the dead, everything in the land of the living is left behind. There's a separation here.
Okay.
No,
go ahead and
everything's
give me
fine.
A persuasion check.
Just tell me. Okay. This just happens to be what I absolutely excel at, right?
Well, give it a shot.
Not
See what
like
happens.
there's a bard right next to you or nothing.
Yeah, she. Yeah, so she's getting even more tight-lipped as you more that you prod, the more she just stops talking entirely.
Okay. Well, I see. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. I hope you may find more peace. It's
Okay.
pleasant meeting you again, and I go to shake her hand. Kind of
She
wander
shakes
over
it,
here to
but
Darcy.
gingerly.
Yeah, very gingerly. Miss
All right,
Darcy.
Darcy. So
No.
that conversation was happening, and then you wanted to start playing music. So
Yes.
you play, and unlike yesterday, as you play, you don't get a lot of movement from inside the waiting room. However, all of the people outside, except for the nymph, you notice that they just start getting closer and closer, like moths to a flame. And you're not sure exactly why, but as you play the music, they just crowd around so they can get as close to you as they can as they're listening. And the psychopomp looks over at you. It looks like he's about to tell you to stop. Then he looks at the waiting room, sees nothing happening, shrugs, and then lets you continue. All right. So as you're playing, they're starting to crowd in closer and closer. So what do you do?
I'm gonna stand up on the bench that way I don't get completely engulfed in them and continue playing.
Okay, you continue playing, and
This is now my stage.
they walk right up to the bench, and so much so that a couple of them are actually kind of touching you as it's just because they're right up. They're not grabbing or anything, but they're standing like that close.
She's going to look at one of them.
Just which one are you looking at?
Let's go with Elf Guy. That's just directly in front of me.
Okay, so yeah, he's standing right in front of you. Um, he's close enough that he's kind of touching your legs. Again, just his body is, and then he's looking up at you, and you just see this expression of it just kind of wide open eyes and a slack jaw, and you see his gray face is just it's just lost.
Darcy's gonna do a little bit of an experiment. Right now, her music is kind of soothing. She's gonna change it into a festive dancing tempo to see if it affects them at all, or if it's just music in general.
Okay, fair enough. So as you play something more festive, then they start wandering off and kind of go back and sit down. They're still looking at you, they're still paying attention, but they're not on top of you.
Well, there we go. She's gonna look at the psychopomp that's just hanging out next to us. Why are they drawn by music?
It comes over and it says, "Well, they're new. They've just arrived, and this world is so foreign to them that you bring a spark of the world of the living, and to people just who have just arrived, it's like a moth to flame, or flame to moth, as you would say. Once they get used to things, their minds will clear, and they'll be like those in the waiting room who will just hear it as normal music, although it will probably still cause them to long for their life while they were alive. Which is part of the reason we don't have the music here, not until they're much further along.
I see. How long does it take them to adjust to undead?
It varies by individual. A couple of days to a couple of weeks, and on rare occasions, a couple of months.
Is it just the inability to let go?
That's part of it. It's also their minds have trouble processing what's happening, and to those without some innate power to them, such as yourself, this place feels very wrong and very difficult to, at first, very difficult to, to survive in.
And what of those like the nymphs?
Well, she is a bit better off. You notice she did not get up and crowd you when you played your music, because she had some power in life. Not as much as you, clearly, but more than they.
Do all things that die cross here?
All things from the world you came from, but not from other worlds.
Miss Darcy.
Hmm? Oh, she never stopped playing, by the way.
Okay.
I've actually, listening to everything that was going on,
Okay.
I've actually now have two very interesting questions. I wonder that could be answered.
Maybe.
The first would be, and kind of asking both the Psychopomp and Darcy. You're playing calming music, and they come like a moth to flame. You play a more up-tempo jig, and they kind of go back. What if you played like a truly tragic, tear-jerking funeral dirge? Would that
Why would
possibly
I want
help
to
adjust?
torment the already tormented?
You see the
Well, it's not
Psychopomp
so much.
look at you and interrupt you, and he says, shakes his head. I would not recommend that.
Would it not help them realize where they are and adjust to them?
It will. Well, let's just say your friend may die a second, or may die for real.
Oh, no, we do not wish to make them violent. I'm sorry, it was just a question. Speaking of questions, Miss Darcy, I was wondering if I might be able to get your assistance. In life, we had a bit of a difficult time with, and I'm going to start talking really, really quietly and in Celestial. In life, we had a bit of a difficult time with, say, our guest over my shoulder there.
As you talk in
But,
Celestial, you hear the Psychopomp suddenly laughing for some reason.
Is this language understood everywhere here?
The Psychopomp kind of walks over and says, well, let's just say that you are not the first godlings to visit, and nor will you likely be the last, although I hope that you are. No offense.
Oh, that I can understand. Okay. I start speaking very quietly to Miss Darcy. In life, the people over my shoulder gave us quite a bit of trouble. But there was a question left at the end as to the vengeance of their god and what was coming. I don't suppose you could talk to
It
her,
is
maybe.
dragon. It is dragon,
that?
was it not? It was dragon, was it not? It has already threatened us. I'm sure we are quite aware of the trouble it will cause.
Was it dragon? I could not remember that. Huh. I thought that was left to question. Okay. So sorry.
I do not wish to disturb the process of coming to terms with death, not to mention psychopumps would not appreciate us riling up.
Well, no, I wish not to rile up. I was having pleasant conversation, but she did not wish to disclose certain information I was asking for. But if you knew it, then
If she is uncomfortable with speaking, there is probably a good reason why.
well, I figure all we can learn is better. Yes. Besides, they are dead. They are going to the land of the dead. The land of the living should no longer concern them once they are well adjusted. So, why not learn what we can from the dead? They hold a lot of
Perhaps,
information.
perhaps she is not fully adjusted yet, which is why she still is hesitant.
Ah, true. I just figured I am no so good talking like you.
Perhaps we should wait until we are in the city.
Okay. That sounds like a reasonable idea. I sincerely hope our compatriots get back before we go in. I mean, the
Message
psychopomp did say. Yeah, can I do that? I'll go ahead and cast ascending.
Cast what? Ascending? Oh, ascending. Yeah, sure, you can cast ascending.
I'll go ahead and sending Cyclonin. It's like hello, brother.
Yeah, at this
Just,
point in time, Cyclonin, you can still receive it. So what do you say? Not you. What does Judge say? Then you can respond.
Oh. Alright. Judge says, hello, brother. Just wondering how soon you will get back. We have our entry into the city, and it will be soon.
Okay, so when you get that message, Cyclonin, you've been up for half an hour, so you probably made your way and talked to the Carrig, and then you're probably gone back to the boat, but you haven't left yet. So you're still on that island where you bought the where they bought the Cephas mask. So how do you respond?
Conglomerate and I are running errands. The errands should take a few hours. It will be several hours to return.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and quietly tell Darcy. Cyclonin and Conglomerate are running errands, he said. It should take several hours, but I believe he expects to return today.
Well, then we must wait until they return.
Yeah.
All right. So are you guys gonna do anything while you're waiting for the for people to start gathering and everything, or is there anything else you want to do?
No, I think we can just wait and listen, and Judge is gonna try and figure out watching people adjust to the land of the dead, and then kind of wander over to the waiting room and peek in on them to see what a well-adjusted dead person would be like, trying to figure it out.
Okay. So
Yeah, let's talk to the dead.
sorry. Go ahead.
Let's talk to the dead.
No, I was just going to be more observing. I tried talking and I failed badly. But go ahead, please. You might learn more than me. You are much better with the words.
So the people in the waiting room are the well-adjusted ones.
At least comparatively, yeah.
Okay. So they should at least hopefully know their own names. I'm gonna wander over in there.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to fix something here.
Oh, can I pick up like grapes and they not disappear? And they only disappear when I eat them? Or do they disappear no matter what?
No, they don't. You could pick them up and they'll stay in your hand for a while at least. You're not sure how long, but they don't disappear immediately.
Alright.
Maybe I want NPC. Ah, here it is. There we go. So I'm going to replace her with her. Okay. All right. So you grab some grapes. So what are you doing?
You know what? I'm gonna go talk to the nymph. Yeah.
All right. She sees you approaching and she kind of flinches. And then she says, yeah, yes.
Have you tried these grapes?
No, not yet.
Go ahead.
She takes one and eats it. She says, it's surprisingly good, actually. I haven't eaten in
Very-
a while.
Would you like them?
Sure.
Hands them over.
She starts eating them. So, you're not dead either, are you?
No.
Why would you be here if you're not dead? I don't understand. Although I guess the psychopomps and Carrick probably aren't dead either, so... Do you work here?
No, but they do. We are traveling through this place.
Alright. And why?
To find others like ourselves.
Oh, okay. Why?
It is part of our great journey and ascension.
I see. Is it a journey bathed in blood? Or a road paved in blood?
Unfortunately, often so.
I see.
We do not wish to have to kill others, but often we are not given a choice.
Well, you do what you have to do, and then you get killed for doing what you have to do.
You know much of this?
Say that again?
You know much of this?
This place? No, I'm here. I'm new here too.
No. The killing because you have to.
Oh, unfortunately, yes. I've killed many.
I am aware.
I suppose it was only a matter of time before I wound up here. I
How
guess
many
that
were
time has
for?
passed now. She looks around. I don't feel the hunger anymore.
No, and you won't. Eating here is for a comfort, a pleasure, not for a necessity.
I heard one of the psychopomps saying that they actually sell some sort of food in the city. I wonder what kind of food they sell. Not the kind you have here, where it's clearly some sort of illusionary thing. But no, they the food, it tastes good though. But no, real food. I wonder why.
Maybe for travelers like myself. Or maybe it has a property that reminds those who remain here of other times.
Perhaps. Maybe I'll eat some of that food. Depending on what it is.
Well, are you leaving today?
Not just the grapes. Oh, am I leaving today? Is that what you said? Oh, no. I'm told I not leaving. I'm not going into the city today. I just arrived a little while ago, before you, not maybe an hour before you came out.
Well, I am sure I will eventually pass through here again. If you do not make it to the city before then, I can tell you what the food is.
Okay. I'm told it'll just be a couple of days at most, so I'll probably be in before you come back, but I guess you never know.
Exactly. I noticed one of your fellow sisters was in the waiting room. Is she leaving early?
Yeah, she for some reason arrived before I did. She arrived yesterday, I think. Maybe the day before. I'm not sure. But anyway, she arrived before I did, so she goes in first.
Have you spoken?
No, I just kind of came over here. I just saw her in passing. I don't feel any need. I'll speak to her again eventually, once we're all in the city, wherever we go next. So how long
How
are
are
you
you
staying in
feeling?
the city?
That is a good question. I don't know. Until I guess we do what we must. So why we came here. It's
Oh.
done.
I wonder where you stay
Every
once
2
you go
days.
in the city. Is there special apartments for us?
I assume there is some sort of lodging. More importantly, what do you do to pass time?
I don't know. I just got here. I'm just gonna sit around and wait. Eat some more grapes at some point, I guess.
There is whole storage room.
On the way from the boat, the psychopomp said I could go to the building over there, and she points at the building, and get a room. So I guess I can sleep. I guess we can still do that for some reason.
Probably again like food, comfort thing.
Drugs. I don't know.
How are you feeling?
I don't know. Empty.
Does my music help at all?
No. It helps them. She gestures around. But to me, it's just noise. Not bad noise, mind you. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just noise.
She kind of chuckles at that. She's like, yes, they are very interested until I change tempo. Then they go away.
Yeah, that was interesting. I was just waiting to see what was going to happen. They couldn't. It's hard to get more aggressive without things going really bad.
True. How does one kill those who have already passed, after all?
I think they can. I thought I heard one of the psychopumps saying that if you die here, you will go somewhere else, far worse. And you can die there and go somewhere else even worse. So I guess you can still die.
Oh. Levels of death. Interesting.
I am very interested in finding where this next level is. I'm assuming it's also a
Exactly.
physical place we can go to, so.
I would go ask them. They perhaps will know.
Psychopump looks
Bird.
at you as you approach.
She's gonna call it Bird because it looks like a bird. They don't really have names.
You haven't heard him. In fact, you've only heard the Carrig referred to as Carrig or specific titles like Guard or what have you. And the Psychopumps you've only ever heard referred to as Psychopumps.
She will call it Bird. Or address it as Bird.
The Psychopump looks around as you say bird. Where?
You.
I am no bird.
You look like Bird.
I suppose. What do you want?
What is other level? After this one of dying?
Well, I never been myself. Don't know a lot, but I do know that this is a sort of almost like a waiting room of sorts. There are the dead inter here for a while, and sometimes for a long while, and then they go somewhere else, although I'm not sure where. And then those who die here or are killed here go to far worse places. And
Does
as
that
you
include you?
As you go farther and farther, the torments you suffer increase. But most are not killed here unless it is very dire. Although a few, well, let's just say it's a few jump from the land, and well, you probably guess what happens then. Yeah, I do not know much, but oh, actually, I do know something that might be of interest to you. My understanding is that you godlings, if one of you dies, then within a few days you return unless your entire pantheon is wiped out. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, I've heard from another group of godlings that can't happen while the pantheon is here. They don't return until the pantheon leaves Urban Egg.
So if one of us dies here, we won't return until the rest of us go back to surface?
I believe so. So I probably would suggest not dying.
Dying is inconvenient at best anyway.
Although, between you and me, if you, let's say you had a beef with another pantheon, this might be the best place to deal with it, because they can't just run away and regroup easily.
True, but neither can we. So, equal playing field of mutual destruction.
Fair.
Do you and the Kirig, do you have afterlife? Do you go somewhere else when you die?
Yes, we go to the same place they go if they die again. It is a failure. We have failed in our job.
You are punished for this.
Yes.
Is there any way to atone to return?
I don't know.
And those others, the pale people that attack you, they go there as well?
Yes.
What started war?
Perhaps you should ask the guide that when you get in the city.
Fair enough.
The guide
Also,
may have other answers for you as well, but be warned, he does charge for information.
and what kind of currency do you use? The same bubbles as the pale ones do?
He pulls out a sack. He has, like a money sack-looking thing on his side. He pulls it out, and he pulls out the cyan gemstones, the same ones that Judge has as well, and he puts it back.
Oh. Oh. Yes, they have. The pale ones have mines that they protect, I suppose.
Yes, the Carrick have mines as well. Same kind of mines. It is...
Outside of currency, what else are they good for? Do they have power within them?
No, it's just currency. It's no different than gold or silver that the people in the world above use.
Interesting.
But your silver and your gold is not useful here.
One sparkle for another. Can the gems be brought up to the surface and survive?
I don't think so. I've never tried it. I haven't heard anybody else who has, but I doubt it. You could try, he shrugs.
Can your kind go to the surface?
In theory, but it is against the rules. It's taboo. The Carrig can go, but the psychopumps shall not. But I suppose theoretically it is possible.
Question. How are you born and or created?
I'm not sure. I just woke up one day. And I was there. And I already knew everything I needed to know.
Are you divine creation that just appears when needed?
Perhaps that's one way to put it. Which makes me wonder what will happen with Drebo's gone for so long.
Perhaps when they return, things will change.
Perhaps. For now, we follow the rules.
Have the rules ever changed?
lived forever.
Is there one that is the eldest that is known? Or do you all exist around the same time?
There are those with more power and more knowledge. You perhaps might find them in the city, perhaps not. If you
Oh.
are really curious of where you can find scholars, at least, I suggest you ask the guide. Perhaps you can ask him about the U-Spire.
Oh, one more thing. Have you any knowledge of giant eel that resides in Lake of Memory?
Yes, he is one of many of his kind among the giant creatures that live in the memory of the sea and swim about. There are other memories that swim in the sea as well, of various sizes and shapes. The dredgers would run into them more often than most as they pull the food from the seafloor. If you want to know more about dredgers, you can speak to the food merchant inside.
And that is the Kirik? Or one of your kind?
He is a Carrig. But he is a special
Oh.
Carrig. There are several merchants inside that perhaps you would want to speak to, and the guide is a Carrig as well, but again, special.
Are there more than just Kirigs and your kind and the dead in there?
There are. But if you want to learn more about the Lost Districts, I suggest you ask the guide.
All right. You have been very helpful.
Gods. Even if you did call me, what was it, a bird?
Yes.
Shrugs. And he flaps his wings a little as he says, I'm not sure why you think I look like a bird.
I will show you. I have drawing implements, and I'm going to draw the bird that he most resembles.
Okay. You can hover over him to get kind of a bigger view. So what bird do you think that would be?
Like a mix of a crow and a vulture.
Fair
So,
enough.
probably a crow. She could draw. She has several pieces of paper. She has a drawing pad with things. She probably draws a crow on one and a vulture on another.
Alright, so you start drawing. Alright, so Gizzard, you see Darcy who's having a conversation with the psychopomp. Judge apparently is on a bench. So what are you doing, if anything?
I'm gonna listen in on this conversation.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
just-
Snoop.
Fair enough. So you kind of go over there and listen up. No problem. I'm gonna move you. You can't see it, but so you're out of the
Yeah.
front.
Sounds good.
All right. And Judge, are you passing the time, or are you doing anything?
I'm gonna go ahead and pass the time. I think I might come over here, and after listening to quite a bit of her conversation, I will come over here and say hi to this guy. Do I recognize him? I do. I don't see his name, but I recognize him.
You
He's one
should
of the
be able to hover
peoples.
over him and see the name. No Paulson.
I do not see a name.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. I'm not sure why it was working for the other one then. All right. Try it now.
Oh, yep, there he is, Nepulson.
All right. So
And
you come up and he kind of looks over and he says, You're rather large.
Yes. And all kinds here.
Indeed.
You came here a very long time ago, yes?
Actually, just a few days ago. But he scratches his head. Something happened. I was here before, and now I'm here again. I don't remember what happened in between.
Do you know how to play chess?
What is chess?
It is a game. I can teach you. Perhaps we can talk if you wish.
Sure, I have a while before we go into the city.
I'll just bring him over into here, I guess. That'll work. We can both just kind of sit down.
Alright, fair enough. Alright. So how does this work? And then I assume you show him the rules of the game and everything.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and show him the rules of the game, and as I do, I'm going to interject little bits of history and see if I can get him to open up and talk to me about where he came from and what he did in life, even if he can't remember this jump.
So, as you talk to him, you learn a couple of things. You learn that he is the same Napolson that you saw when you were, running through that kind of memory thing. You got kind of playing through that. So he talks to you about the temple, the shrine, kind of some of the same stuff you experienced, and then and he says, it's all blurry now, but then on that last day, something happened with the altar, and suddenly this tear in the world opened, and these creatures erupted from it, and we all ran. Well, most of us anyway. And we ran and tried to get away, but they caught us all and destroyed us. I do remember one of them saying that, what was it? Thank you for opening the way to your world. Up until now, we had no way of getting here. So I'm not sure what that means, but I have the feeling that we let in something terrible. These insect creatures, demons, someone called them. But I did not survive long.
Well, those insect creatures are still here, but I would not worry. You did not bring them intentionally. What do you know of these creatures that you brought?
I don't
Anything?
know anything about them other than they are some sort of insect demon.
Okay.
I suspect that others of our people must have known, because somebody brought them. Somebody brought them there. Somebody caused that rift to open. Perhaps they were corrupted by those creatures somehow. But I did not know.
That was quite a long time ago, but thank you for telling me all of these. I do have one last thing. I was wondering, what, if anything, do you recognize this object? And Judge will go ahead and pull out an object.
Oh, yes, it was one of the tools we used. Well, there were occasional demands for sacrifice. Not human sacrifice, but sacrifice of various gods, unfortunately. I never saw the point of it, but it was something we had to do. But ultimately, it seemed to appease the gods, and so I suppose in that way it was our duty. There isn't much to it, though. I mean, it was perhaps the gods would assign some importance to it, but to us it was what we used out of tradition.
Is there anything you can tell me about this specific one? Its history or any uniqueness about it? Are there any like inscribings on it, or is it just fancy? Or
Yeah, there's no real inscribings on it. It's like he shrugs and says, "We had several like that. It was passed down from the elders. If you find them here." Oh, and then he kind of stares off for a moment. There was one here, but he got killed last night. I wonder how that works. He scratches his head. But there was an elder last night, I swear, and I asked the psychopomps, and one of them told me that he was killed during the raid. He might have known.
I did want to talk to him last night, but unfortunately I did not get the chance. But thank you. Do you know if any others might be around?
Ko-Oak is here somewhere, but I don't know where. I believe she is supposed to go into the city today, or she was, but apparently for some reason she is no longer going in today and will be going in tomorrow or another day.
Perhaps I can find her and speak with her as well. I appreciate this. It was a
Perhaps.
wonderful game.
Of course. I have no match for you, though.
Well, Judge was probably going really easy to have him learn the ropes of it.
Yeah, and it's clear to you that he knows you're going easy.
Okay.
Anything else? I should probably sit down. For some reason I'm feeling tired. I think we all are. I think it's something to do with getting used to things here.
Yes, I agree.
You don't seem tired, though, and you do seem different than the rest of us, so perhaps you're different, but I'm gonna go sit down, and then he kind of wanders off.
Alrighty. So I know she's out here somewhere. I do want to look for her. Here. Good, sir.
Looks over as you walk up. Yes?
I was wondering, would you be able to help me find a specific guest? One I was hoping to speak to. One of the peoples I wanted to speak to last night was unfortunately taken down in the raid, but is there any way to find another specific guest that was here, whom I believe is still
you can
present?
look in the waiting room. Otherwise, she may be in her rooms or sitting around over there. But otherwise, if you want to look around, you can, but you're on your own.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. As you go outside, you can see more psychopomps. And then as you come around, you can see near the edge, Ko-Oak is just kind of staring over the edge. Make sure you can see her name, because you do recognize her hovered by anyone. There you go. So you should be able to see her name now. Anyway,
Yep.
she's kind of staring over the edge. And you can tell that there's a fairly steep drop-off, down to the ocean floor and, into the darkness. And she doesn't seem to really notice as you walk up. So what do you do?
Is she standing there? Or
She's standing
Sitting
there.
on the
I
shore.
mean, she doesn't look like she's trying to jump or anything. She's just kind of standing there staring.
Alright. I'll walk up gently behind her, not trying to hide myself in any way. And it's like, Miss Cook, how are you doing today?
She looks over and she says, "Oh, it's fine." And he goes, sits on a box. Says, "I was just thinking."
About what?
Not much.
This is a place to think, and
Yeah, I find myself in this strange place, and I've accepted that I'm dead. So it is okay.
well, something still weighs upon you, it seems, though. Perhaps talking about it. I was speaking to a friend of yours inside, and I am a bit familiar with the place you came from. Perhaps
She looks at you and says, "Why would you be familiar? I don't remember seeing anyone who looks like you there."
oh, I definitely did not look like this when I was there, but it is something I can do. Here, let me see. Oh, did it work?
You go
Yes,
to
it did.
change, but unfortunately you're an Ermine egg, so nothing happens.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. Yeah, but I can look like different pebbles here and there sometimes.
Well, wait, what kind of changing? Because my understanding was illusions still work.
Yeah, but the
I was
avatar form is an illusion. It's more of a, what is that spell called where it allows you to actually change your shape and form rather than just the,
Alter
yeah, it's
self.
more like that.
Okay, I didn't
Okay,
realize that's
and
what you're
that's not
trying to
allowed.
do.
Yeah. I was trying to just do the god change thing.
Yeah.
Swap form. Okay.
So yeah, she's like, well, that's strange. There was only priests and priestesses, and people who worked there. Everybody was known. I'm not sure how you could have been there, and without us knowing, even if you look like something else. Unless you mean you came after we were gone, in which case, then yeah, I would understand that.
Yeah, we definitely were around a bit later, but we heard and discussed. How was dinner? I was curious.
Yeah. She kind of just shakes her head and kind of stares off in the distance.
I as a player am having a difficult time remembering, but I know that Judge is way smarter than me and would remember. I'm trying to remember some of the other names of the people and their
Okay,
interaction.
yeah, you can rattle off some of the names, and she just kind of shrugs and then stares off.
Okay. I was wondering, would you be able to tell me about something if I showed you? Would you be willing?
Perhaps.
Actually, first, I'm gonna reach into my bag and hold on a second. Scroll. I'm gonna reach into my bag and pull out a bottle and just pour a little bit, like maybe a half cup, and offer it to her before showing her the ceremonial knife.
She sees what you're
Would you like?
offering and she takes it from you, and then she chugs it like a shot. And he hands it back to you.
Okay. And then show her the ceremonial knife. Is there anything you might tell me about these? The elder, he is no longer here. I did not get a chance to speak with him, but I did see him yesterday from across the courtyard before the attack.
Yes, that is unfortunate, but there were certain ceremonies where those knives were used. we did not make them. They were handed down from prior priests and priestesses. I know somebody had to make them at some point, but I don't know who. Oftentimes there were, well, not often, but occasionally there were animal sacrifices needed. There was once where we sacrificed a human, but it was a criminal. The human, well, anyway. But otherwise, not much to say. It's gold, so you have to be, somewhat gentle with it. It's a ceremonial knife, not meant as a weapon.
Of course.
But yeah, not much else to say, really. For some reason, though, we had to use those knives. It was decreed by the gods, I think, or at least that's what the elder said. When I passed, I was still new. I believe it was the day of my first water ceremony, actually, the first one that I ran. That was the day that everything happened, and I believe it was a success. I remember it going pretty well.
Your water ceremony was flawless. I have on good authority. But I believe it was one of the ceremonies later that might have gone awry.
Right, and so yeah, before that I was basically an apprentice. So I hadn't been with the order, or at least in that place, for that long.
Pour a little more wine into the cup and offer it back to her. And
She chugs it.
trying to get her to keep talking. Maybe she'll start talking a little more about the Zerg, and because she knows more than she's kind of letting on right now. But I realize that she wasn't actually at fault for most of it.
But yeah, as you continue to pry, at some point, she'll talk about the water ceremony, she'll talk about the day up until a certain point. But when it comes to the altar, or when it comes to the specifics about the Sorg or her roommate, she seems to be clamming up.
Okay.
And after a while, she just kind of looks at you and says, I was a priestess. I have heard many people, and I understand you're trying to pump me for information. Is that how you say it?
No,
I
I do just need to know, because it is not too late to perhaps fix things.
perhaps
Some
not,
form of
but,
redemption.
Nevertheless, I need a few days before I can talk about those things. So if you can come back another time.
I do understand. Thank you for the information you have given me so far.
She
And
nods.
please, try and just enjoy what time you have here. Don't think too badly of any events. What cannot be corrected can be.
She nods at you and then goes back to staring off in the distance. Alright, so you go up and you meet the rest of the group. So what do you talk to them about, if anything?
I'll go ahead and say that we got a very little bit of information about Zorg from and the lady. I'm gonna screw up her name again, but I got a little information from her. But I would much rather talk to the elder.
Darcy, Gizzard, are you still around?
Cyclonin and Conglomerate to come back.
No, they have not.
Yeah. What did you say, Judge?
That I didn't get a whole lot of information from the girl, but we didn't get to talk to the priest, who had a lot more information. Otherwise, we are just waiting for Cyclone and Conglomerate to come back and to be let into the city.
Sounds about right.
I don't
to
have
me.
a whole lot else.
No.
Okay, you want me to fast forward time?
Sure, unless you got anything, Miss Darcy.
I was showing the bird. I drew a buzzard and a crow, and I was showing him why I called it bird.
He looks at the pictures, and then he shrugs and says, well, I guess I get it. I didn't know I looked like those things.
He kind of just hands it to him.
He takes
Talk
it.
to you, son.
If I ever see Drebos, maybe I'll ask him about this. And he folds it up and kind of sticks it in his money sack. Alright, so what I'll go ahead and do then is I will advance till noon. And so at noon, what you notice happening is that a line seems to be forming at the bridge from people in the waiting room. You can see one of the psychopomps come up to the group, and he says, "It is time to enter the city. Please come along. If your companions arrive, they can speak to the Carrig about when they can enter, but for now it is your turn. So come along."
And do we go in and hope they can get in after us? Darcy, Mr. Gizzard?
What did you say?
I said we just go in now and hope that they can get in after us, or do we try and wait? Shall we go in?
Well,
I think we should just go in.
Yep, we're going in. They chose to leave.
Okay. So the group kind of heads across this bridge, and you can see that the land on either side of the bridge is rather steep, and the edges of the sides of the bridge are only a foot or two high, so it would be very easy to fall over. And as you crossed, you can feel the occasional gusts of wind. And then everybody continues to go until they finally reach the gate. And then the psychopomp goes through, checks everybody, and then returns, opens the gate, and lets you in. So let me change maps. Okay, so you guys have just gone across the bridge, and you've entered. So as you enter, hold on. So as you enter, you first pass through the gate area, and you can see atop the massive towers that circle the gate, ballista crews that watch the bridge. You can see robed Carrig philosophers moving around from group to group, from person to person as you come in, telling, complimenting their various features. And you can also tell that they're trying very hard to sound smart. And except for a few prominent guards, you can see that the towers and Barbican nearby have been converted to housing for displaced citizens. You can see it's very crowded with Carrig. and people are. You can see Carrig sleeping in various different places, and obviously, like they're packing a bunch of people into a small place. And then finally, you reach the plaza, and you can see various robed Carrig walking around. You can see two curving galleries filled with families and merchant stalls. You can see that there are people who clearly are, a few Carrig here and there sleeping in kind of like in behind the merchant stalls, in the galleries themselves. And you can hear the crackle of frying delicacies in the air. You see, once the group gets let in, everybody is being told that to spend some time in the plaza, that at some point the guests will be escorted to the next area of the city. You also notice that there's another of the large blue orbs floating over a purple flame, providing light and keeping the air easy to breathe. And it's faint and shimmery, but at the very edge, you can see there's some sort of barrier blocking the path beyond this last step over here. And you can hear one of the Carrig mentioning that the barrier is keeping the people in. It's keeping the people from the lost districts and the rest of the city out, and it's keeping the air. The air that guests can breathe inside, and because it seems like, despite the fact the city is above the ocean, outside of these few areas, the air is the same as beneath the water. All right, so what do you do?
Judge would like to not touch, but kind of stroll up to the barrier and just look at it. Get a kind of like a.
It's a very alien type of magic. It's definitely magic, but it's very alien and very different than the type of magic that you use. And as you approach, you can see that a Carrig kind of standing out in the crowd that people are talking to, and you can hear somebody mention him as a reference to him as the guide.
Ah. Anybody?
All right, so what do you do?
Judge will go ahead and walk up.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to talk to the guy?
Sure.
Yep.
All right, you walk up to the guide, and then he looks at you and he says, "You are rather strange guests." And then he looks at you, Judge, as you being in the front, and he says, "I know what you really are, but what can I do to help you?"
I was just curious. Is there what all can you tell me about this barrier and the lost portions of the city? You've lost portions. What is the situation? I guess.
Well, I have a suggestion before you start asking questions. It might be easier if you had a little more information.
Yes.
If you look at those curved galleries, and he kind of points over here and over here,
Uh-huh.
says there are several merchants that you may find interesting. Um, I would I would visit the Codex merchant at the very least, but the crystal figurine and food merchants might be useful to you as well. And once you have done that, then return and ask your questions.
Ah, thank
And
you
so
very
as
much.
he points out the different merchants, I'll go ahead and show them so you get a kind of a representation. So you can hover over them. You should be able to see. You can see figurine, crystal merchant, codex merchant, food merchant. So what do you do?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely Judge is drawn to the Codex Merchant first. Books and knowledge.
All right. So as you arrive, you notice two things. You notice that there are several large codexes kind of sitting around the table, and then there are a bunch of scrolls as well. And as you approach the merchant, he looks over and says, "Oh, welcome. I see that the godlings have decided to pay us a visit. Well, I'll tell you what I have for sale. So, two very interesting, or there's two types of things that you will find very interesting. One is I can offer you a Siphon map for 100 gems. And the second thing is you can see the various philosophical works, and he pulls out a giant tome and slams it on the table. It makes it's like bam, of various different Keurig philosophers that you might be interested in.
Ah,
The maps are the map is 100 gems, and the each philosophical work by various different philosophers from the city are 100 gems each. And then he kind of leans in and he says, if you ever want to speak to a lot of Keurig or you want to know anything about Keurig philosophy, I suggest picking up at least one of these.
ah, interesting.
So what would it be? 100 gems for the Siphon map, indispensable if you're planning on doing anything in Siphon, especially if you want to get away from the crowds, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
And of
yes.
course, you want to know about Keurig philosophy if you want to be able to speak to Keurig, of course. So, what do you say?
Well, I am liking the Siphon map. Um, as we were entering the city, I had noticed several Keurig philosophers all speaking. I mean, are these the same philosophers as what wrote some
Some
of
of
these
them.
stones?
Some of them are from the
Hmm.
Usefire here. You probably have heard of it. It is a great bastion of Keurig learning.
Ah, yes, and something I'm very interested in. Yes, but okay, the Siphon map. I believe this will be something very helpful. Yes.
I believe it'll help you a lot.
Okay, scrolling down. 100 cyan gems, you said.
Indeed.
Okay. Um, I'm adjusting my price. Hold on. Or not
No problem.
price, but my number.
So you pay him the gems?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pay him the, let's see, so that'd be 960, okay. 100 gems for the full Siphon map.
Okay, so let me go ahead and
Okay.
make that visible to you guys. Assuming I find it. There it is. Configure ownership, observer. So now, if you go to your handouts, you should be able to see a Siphon map, but for now, I'll go ahead and show everybody so you get a bigger view there. So does everybody have the map?
Yes. All right.
Oh yeah. Wow, that's a cool map.
It is.
How did you make this?
Um, well, we can talk about that another time. But for now, you got the map. Um, as you're kind of looking at it, he says, and don't forget, you want to know about Keurig philosophy, do you not?
I'm
Um,
curious.
y- say that again.
I want to know. You got to buy one of these philosophy books, bro. I know he's selling it hard, but I'm too curious. I need to know.
I actually want to. Right. Have we noticed? We've spoken celestial to each other in this place before. Do others understand us? Do the Keurig know how to speak it?
The Kerrig and the psychopomps do. The guests do not.
Okay. It's like, yes, I do want to come back for one of these philosophy books, but first I would like to check the other merchants. I mean, we only have a limited amount of funds, yes?
Good point.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much for the map. It can be very helpful, and we will come back and discuss those tomes later. But we this was our first place. We will see the other wares. Yes.
Of course. Please come back when you find that you really need to learn about Kerrig philosophy.
Yes, of course. Okay. Crystal, figurine merchant or crystal merchant. Um, shall we wander to the crystal merchant?
Sure.
Okay.
So you find two interesting things laid out. Actually, three interesting things laid out as you enter. First, you can see there's a Cephas mask. And the second thing you can see is that there are two glowing white crystals. And as you approach, the merchant gestures you over and he says, limited time only. I only have a few of these items left. I only have one Cephas mask, yours, for a cheap 500 gems, and these crystals of protection, 100 gems each. And then he exhaustively explains the um, the arcane effects of the crystals of protection in a way you can understand, Judge. And what you get out of it is that he only has two of them, um, and they're minor artifacts, so you can actually absorb them. They give you an experience point, and they'll give you +1 AC, but only up to 18. So if you already have an AC of 18 or higher, you can't absorb it.
Okay.
So the Cephas mask is 500, and the crystals of protection are 100 each. So if you have anybody in the group with, say, like a 16 or 17 AC, they could use it. But if you already have a 19 AC or 20 or whatever, then you can't.
Okay.
That's
Yes, I've
definitely
obviously I'm getting these.
yeah.
Obviously I'm getting them, but I'm going to say so is there anything other than gems that might be valuable? I mean, these are very powerful magic items, yes? Perhaps magics from where I come from?
He shakes his head and says, other than this, we have various crystal structures, and he points you at various different crystals he has.
Mhm.
And the Keurig
Oh,
find these things fascinating, but I doubt they are very useful to you. So these are these are the things that I think you will find most interesting.
oh yes, I do. But what I'm saying is, and I reach into my backpack and I pull out my own scroll. And it's like, these are magics from where I come from. I was wondering if they interest you.
There are
And I
those
pull out
in
a
the
scroll of
Usfire
fireball.
who might know of that, but I do not.
Ah, okay. All right. It was worth a shot. I was just trying. Um, yes, I would like to buy the mask and both of the objects.
Okay, so you spend 700 gems, and you get the Cephas mask and two crystals of protection.
Okay.
Um,
Um,
since the thing is very clear. It just gives you the +1 AC. If you have an AC, up to 18, we don't really need to worry about that. And then as far as the Cephas mask, you just take the mask you have already and just put a 2 next to it until you decide
Okay.
who gets it.
All right. Okay. I subtracted my cyan gems. All right, Mask of Cephas. Add 1, 2. All right, and where's the other thing?
So the Cephas mask is the same as you already have. As far as
Yeah.
the 2 crystals of protection, once you guys want to spend an hour to absorb those, we'll just decide who takes them, so we don't really have to bother,
Okay,
making
with
a
an
note for
object.
those.
Okay. No problem. Okay. I believe this does help all of us quite a bit. Thank you so much, Mr. Crystal Merchant. You have been
Of course, I'm
very
glad.
interesting.
I'm glad you found what you were looking for.
And with that, the figurine merchant is something I'm definitely curious about.
So, as you arrive, you can see that there are various 1 foot tall figurines of various types of Keurig, ranging from warriors to robed Keurig to looks like fishing Keurig. You can see figurines of psychopomps um, and figurines of what look like a couple of different humans. But as you get close, the merchant says, "These aren't just any figurines. You can see that they're solid clay. If you touch them, they don't squish or anything. He kind of takes one and he kind of slams it into the table a couple of times, and you can see it's it no worse for wear, but it has a very special property. And then he goes and he poses one of the arms, and it poses like an action figure. And there's no joints or anything. It's just the clay just kind of moves as if there's a skeleton, and then it moves back. And it says it only pose if you do it intentionally. But you can pose. And he does different poses like sitting and arms sticking out and one leg up. And he says, and each of these is yours for a mere 50 gems.
Hmm, interesting. I'd like to make a quick arcana here. I had found out at some point. Wait a second. Let me check. Let me check. Sorry. Hold on. Open. Close. Okay. All right. Is that what these figurines do? They're just good.
They're
I'm just
basically
observing and listening to
posable
his
hard
pitch.
clay figurines, but unlike regular soft clay, they pose as if it's an action figure where there's specific joints and stuff, even though you don't actually see the joints. But like if you bend the lower arm, it bends as if there's an elbow.
Hmm. Interesting. Miss Darcy, Mr. Giesort.
So
What's up, Judge?
Any thoughts? Any thoughts?
Mm,
What? The doll that can move?
what'd you say, Darcy?
Thoughts on what? The doll that can move?
That is what he is selling here.
I'd prefer the philosophy book myself.
Hmm.
Besides just moving, is that it?
These are very wonderful. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, as for Darcy, if you're watching what he's doing, as far as you can tell, they're just posable, hard clayed action figure dolls kind of things. Anyway, go ahead, Judge.
Okay. These are very wonderful, but let us
Well, don't
check the other
he,
merchants.
he waves
Oh,
you
yes.
off and he says, "Don't worry. Why don't you visit the other merchants and when you find that you want a souvenir and these are the best souvenirs around, you can come back."
Ah,
Wow.
yes. Ah. Okay. I hesitate to do it, but for the sake of completeness, shall we go check out the food merchant? Though I do not believe food here is appropriate.
All right, so you arrive at the food merchant, and you can see a variety of interesting foods. But as you show up, it says, Carrig dredging bands find all manner of delicious foods on the sea floor. And so you have here, it looks like a pure white pomegranate. This is the fruit of the dead. And you can, I only have 8 left. And then he talks about what they do, and in game terms, if you consume one of these while taking a short or long rest, it makes you feel more restful and reduces exhaustion by 1 step. And if you consume one of these while resting for at least 10 minutes, it restores 50 hit points. However, as he explains, it spoils in 6 days. It's like, I have only 8 left, only 75 gems apiece. Then we have a dredge leaf, a nutritious staple, moist, but you can smell kind of a mildewy smell coming off the dredge leaf for only 10 gems. Sand nuts, found in the sand of the seabed, only 5 gems per nut, and these are fist size with a tough husk, starchy, floral smell of isopod. He says only the juice from the legs is used because the rest is poisonous. And then it says flutes, man-sized fungus with fibrous rind is mashed in a buttery oil for only 50 gems. Ghost eel, rare memories of sea life past, caught with ancient harpoons for 150 gems. And emberries, citrusy tasting food, although it makes surface people's faces turn purple. Only 100 gems. So what do you say?
Well, those are some interesting options. Sand nuts. The
So as
sand
you
nuts
listen,
sound.
Judge, the only one that sounds like more than food is well, the emberries will turn your face purple, but otherwise, the fruit of the dead probably sounds the most interesting as far as for non-food purposes because it can reduce exhaustion and restore 10 hit points upon resting.
Let us keep
I mean,
the
50 hit points upon resting. Sorry. Go ahead.
turning back to the others, Miss Darcy and Mr. Gizzard. Let us keep the ghost pomegranate fruit things in mind, but I can't say I'm overly confident about the rest, and I say that very quietly, just to us 3.
Go ahead and give me a stealth
And
check.
crap.
Okay.
Okay, and then say, well, we can go back over to the tome merchant and see about an overpriced book on philosophy, or with my keen and discerning ears, we can go right over there and listen to the philosophers speak in real life. Now, I was not 100% convinced. I listened to some as we were coming in, and they sounded much more like they were desperate to sound intelligent than they were actually intelligent. So, shall we investigate that? Maybe just some passive listening before investing in a tome of what might or might not be important.
Yeah,
Yes,
that
Mr.
seems
Gaylord?
wise.
Okay. So we will come back over here. I believe it was right around here where the Keurig were running around acting. Some of them were homeless and trying to like sleep, and other ones were all dressed in philosophers' robes, trying to sound intelligent and speaking. So let's go find a group of them and listen in. Act interested and curious.
Okay, fair enough. So you listen in as they go around talking to various other people. Um, Go ahead and give me probably a history check.
Okay. Miss Darcy, are you listening to maybe
Mm,
could be paying attention, help point out things that I might miss? Give me a little bit of assistance or help actiony.
what are you trying to do again? And she was like looking at some of the other like marketplace areas.
We're just listening to the philosophies or whatnot of the philosophers here to try and discern whether or not they were truly genuine. All right, is there any way I can guidance myself?
Sure.
So you're just trying to
And
figure it out
were
if they're
you?
crap or not?
Yeah, because on first impressions, it sounded like they were trying to sound smart rather than actually being smart, which is just pseudo philosophical fluff. And I'm definitely not investing in that with our very limited resources. So we're just trying to discern that. And being a bard, you'd be excellent at this and give me advantage on my check.
Right, you're pretty intelligent. Wouldn't that also have high intelligence too? So either one would work.
Well, yeah, but if you give me the help action, I roll with advantage. That's what I'm getting at game time.
Oh, I could just inspire you. And you have a plus, what, I think 10 or 12 at this point. Possibly. Yeah.
Okay.
Because bards are more of charisma, not necessarily scholars of philosophy. But she could probably just, if you listen to someone long enough, if they just are talking out their ass, they're just talking out their ass.
Okay. And is your inspiration a D10 or a D12?
I'm about to. Let me see. Oop, not that one. Where'd it go? There it is.
Let me go ahead and
There.
delete that one just because it's so giant.
Oh, I know, right?
There you go.
Hello.
So it looks like it's still a D10. Unless you've
Yep.
gotten to 15th level. Yeah, I don't think you guys are at 15th level, are you, right?
Nope, we're at 14 right now.
Yeah, so still
Okay,
a D10.
D10. Alrighty.
You get a +9. There you go.
All right.
Okay, so with your 40, yeah, you listen to them for a while, and it is clear as day that these guys are full of hot air. But as you're listening, and it's clear after a while to some of the other Carrig and psychopomps around that you are specifically paying attention to the philosophers. One of the psychopomps walks up and kind of whispers at you, and he says, "If you want real Carrig philosophy, you'll need to go to the U-Spire, or if you go to that merchant over there, and he points to the Codex merchant, those he sells philosophy books of philosophy that are written by the real philosophers, the ones who meet us, everybody at the gate. Well, let's just say they're the ones interested in the guess, not interested in philosophy.
Ah, okay. I had almost thought that they were one and the same, about to totally forego the
Yeah, they
Codex
claim to
merchants.
be, and the merchant doesn't know any better. He just gets the books. But no, it's not these guys. Don't listen to them. They'll be more interested in your appendages. We're more interested in your appendages and the exoticness than they are in actual philosophy.
Well, we must look like a freaking circus.
Actually, um, listening to these philosophers, does any of them look like they might have a pouch? Do they
Well,
walk around with their own little monies?
one of the things you notice, actually, is that on occasion they're asking people to pay to hear more philosophy, and the more you listen, the more you get the impression that people aren't paying them, at least not very much. So yeah, the few that do have money pouches, they don't look very big.
Okay. Um, I would like to approach the one who looks like they're doing the best. Ms. Darcy, perhaps you can back me up on this. Help talk me up, yes? I will need some good assistance.
First of all, what are you trying to do? If they're idiots, why waste your time?
I'm not wasting my time. I'm trying to get some more coin for us to buy more stuff.
Hmm, I suppose.
All right. So I go up to like one of the ones with one of the most successful looking philosophers, ones with like a decently sized pouch. Maybe he's got a good few coin or a crystal or whatever it is.
Okay.
And start off just by listening, and every once in a while, I'll just make a or a or a just a little noise, something very subtle, and then very quickly hush myself.
Okay. Yeah, which he notices.
All right. Does he address?
So yeah, eventually he notices you and kind of walks over to you and he says, "My, you're very interesting. You're so large, and
Yes.
look at those glowing stripes on you. Wow.
Yes. It's, it
Perhaps
comes from
you want to go
a
get a
long.
drink and a meal?
That does sound wonderful, but I was listening, and some of your philosophies were very interesting. But every once in a while, something sounded a bit off. Have you ever heard of the dark philosophies of Minos?
Of course. I
Would
read
you
it
be
all the time.
interested?
Clearly,
Would
he
you be
hasn't.
interested then? Yeah, but as such a connoisseur, would you be so interested? I happen to have one of the scrolls of the dark philosophies of Minos, written in his own hand, straight from the world of the living.
Oh, do you now?
Would that be worth something to you?
Perhaps we
Yes.
can read it together over dinner.
Ah,
Yeah, let him riz you up.
knowledge and philosophy is, yeah, knowledge and philosophy is very valuable. Do you not agree?
Of course.
Perhaps, perhaps we can arrange for more permanent study
How long are you going to be in the city?
for you. Oh no, what I mean is, you could exchange some cyan gems or whatever the monetary establishment is here for me to be able to go buy other things that I need, then you could be having this for a lifetime to study and really dig down.
Oh,
You would be the
I just realized I
philosophical of
don't
all these
actually
out here.
need that scroll because I already have it in my own study.
Ah, so of the Minas dark philosophies, the small scroll. You are familiar with the small scroll and the large.
Well, I have the small scrolls and I have the large scrolls, and he wrote a whole book, and I have that too.
Ah, excellent. Just out of curiosity, what was his contemplations on the passage of time and the philosophies of life and death with justification on power?
Um, I don't really remember. It's been a while. I'll have to go freshen up.
Well, perhaps, and I pull out a scroll, Minos' scroll. Perhaps you can freshen up here, and perhaps your other compatriots here uh, might even pay you for some of the wonderful things in these.
Well, like I said, I already have it. It's just been a while since I looked at it, so I don't need to buy it.
I'll go ahead and put it away. Well, it was worth a shot. I mean, figured it would be the information would be better served here among a place of philosophy, but if not,
Oh
perhaps
yeah,
somebody
I
else.
understand, but
Thank you for your time.
perhaps at the U-Spire they'll pay you a trifling for it. But again, why pay you for something I already have in my collection? Meanwhile, Darcy, while this is happening, are you doing anything?
Because he's obviously talking out his ass, and my charisma of 0 helps me not.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the complete plan is, but Darcy or Conglomerate, were you doing anything while Judge was keeping him distracted?
Well, the plan
Conglomerate.
is obvious. Just convince him to buy a scroll of the dark philosophies of
Okay.
Minos, because obviously it's real philosophy versus what he knows to be fake crap he's touting to these people. I'm
Okay,
giving
fair
him a
enough.
chance to buff up his game against his other
Yeah,
competitors.
clearly it's very clear to you at this point that he doesn't want to spend any money on it, and he'd rather spend money on other things, despite what he says.
Alrighty. In that case, yeah. Any help? Well, now that you guys got the idea down, if you've got anything better, it's just I've got something. And we do want at least a few more coins before we, or cyan crystals before we finish our shopping.
I have a question.
Can you adjust your mic? You're real quiet.
I have a question.
What's your question?
It's to the DM.
Okay, so say that again.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there any sound or sign of music and or performance at all anywhere?
No, there's no music.
Um, is there a psychocomp or a non, I guess a non-actively trying to sell me something merchant, or one of the philosopher peeps that I could ask? It's like, hey, do you have music?
He looks at you kind of strangely. Yes, of a sort. We don't play it often. There's no music here because depending on the type of music, it can disturb the new guests. But the world also has its own natural music. The flutes of hate, for example. But yeah, if you're looking to play, um, you can talk to the guide. He's the de facto one in charge here, other than the head guard um, and the port leader for this area, and he could give you permission if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you do?
Talk to the guide.
Okay. So yeah, you walk over to the guide. He looks over as you guys approach, and he says, "Oh, so you do some shopping. You probably have know better what questions you want to ask. So what do you want to ask?"
Do you have music here? And can I play music here?
We have no music here at the moment. Hmm. What kind of music do you play?
Wait, what did he say?
He's asking what kind of music you play.
All kinds. Soothing, happy, joyful, festive, sad, um, jarring, battle music, any music, all music.
Well, tell you what. If you are any good, if you play for an hour, I can pay you happy, upbeat music to help the guests. I can pay you up to 200 gems if you do a sufficiently good job.
All right.
Very well. So yeah, just set up and then he thinks for a moment. Wait. Does an hour make sense to you? I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm supposed to say. Yes. Okay.
Yes, I know what an hour is.
I'm sorry. That those concepts are hard for us to grasp. The quantifying time as numbers. But anyway, yes. So you pay for an hour, and I will pay you 200. Very well. Set up and play whenever you are ready, and then come back when you are done, and I will tell you how much it's worth. Up to 200.
Okay. All right.
Judge can actually help with this because he has performance and blade singing. So even though he can't really sing or play an instrument, he can definitely, like dance with the music and look pretty while you're playing.
Is there like a spot that's like central that would
fountain in the center.
Okay.
Probably anywhere around the fountain. It's kind of the center point of the place. So probably anywhere around there would be good. There's no specific performance spot or anything though.
Is there a raised spot so just in case
right around the fountain, there'd be a step up, and there'd be kind of an area to kind of sit and everything around the fountain. So you can play somewhere on there.
All right. I'm gonna like step up on one of the things to not be necessarily ground level on everyone.
Okay.
To project as well as to not be like stuck in a crowd in case they do the moth thing again.
Fair enough.
I need room to play. So I'm gonna do that. Gonna inspire myself. For money.
Judge can give you a D4 guidance here if that's allowed, because I'm not afraid of casting spells here.
Yeah, nobody seems to pay attention as you do so it's fine.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, because I do have performance, and with blade singing, it's kind of like dancing. Can I dance around
Yeah, sure.
Darcy,
You can
kind of
dance and give
forming
her
a
advantage.
perimeter?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. And the idea is to dance around her in such a fashion as to help keep the crowd at bay so they don't moth her.
Okay, fair enough. And you do have performance as a proficiency. You do. Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yep. All right. So a D4 plus advantage, and you've got kind of a perimeter to help with the moth effect.
Look, well, you're just one person, and if there's a bunch of them, you're not going to do much of anything. So if they start getting like that, I'm just going to climb to the top of this stupid fountain.
Fair enough.
It's like the zombie horde. Um, doot, 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 doot. Where is it? There's abilities. Performance, advantage.
All right.
Plus a D4 and a D10.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what kind of music are
Plus,
you playing? What's the
he
style?
told me to play happy music,
Okay.
so happy music it is.
Okay. So yeah, with the 28, you're playing upbeat music. The guests seem to enjoy it, and the Carrick don't really seem to pay much attention to it that you can tell, although they also don't seem to hate it. So yeah, you're playing for an hour. Judge is helping you out, so that leaves you to your own devices for an hour. Gizzard, so what are you doing?
Um,
You can pass forward
You can
time if you
pass
don't want
forward.
to do anything.
yeah. How's my snake doing?
Your snake has been asleep since you've come to Erminake.
Like, if I were to try to wake him up, he wouldn't wake up.
Right. It's still alive, but it's asleep.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I think I'm going to choose to pass time and just watch the show.
Fair enough. So an hour passes. You played your music. Once you're finished, the guests clap. You see a couple of nods from the Carrig, and then the guy gestures you over. You notice not a single tip was thrown your way, though. All right. So what do you do,
Not a single tip.
Darcy?
Where's the guide?
He's still He's where he was. He was just kind of near the edge here, uh, and he was kind of watching, and he's just kind of standing there. But he gestures your direction toward him.
Yep, going over. Time to get paid so I can buy stuff.
Okay, so you arrive, and he nods, and he says, "You are better than I expected. I doubt a guest could have done so well. I will give you a bonus." And he hands you a sack. Inside, you will find 250 gems.
Yay!
Okay.
How do
All
we
right.
how do we add that special monies?
Do you want me to just add it to the cyan gems I already have on my total? And then you can just say
No.
when you spend them?
No.
No.
I
All
need
right.
I need the physical money number in my inventory so I can keep track.
Okay. Then make a new item.
Yeah, so what you can
Right.
do is just go ahead and create a new item. And then you can edit the description to give you the number.
Oh, here I can do that real quick here.
I just have it as a consumable. It goes away.
That's fine.
What are they called?
They're cyan
Cyan
gems.
gem.
And I have how many?
250.
All right.
There you go. Perfect.
Great.
All right. So I think actually at Judge. Does everybody know how much you have, gem wise?
I've got just 260 left out of everything that
Yeah.
we had gotten
Okay.
so
That's what
far.
I had, and I was gonna
And
blurt it out because I was keeping track as well. But I realized that you may not have told the group how much you had, and there might be a reason for that, so I didn't blurt it out.
no, they know. We got 1,000 from the Keurig when we saved the city, and he handed them to me. And then we had 60 from the 10 we got before, and then the 50
Yeah.
from the yeah.
So yeah. So
So
you
yeah,
have 260 left, and now Darcy has 250. So 510
that's
total.
that should be enough for us to finish shopping anything we want. Because I
What
think
have
we're
we
gonna have to
bought
spend money
so
at
far?
Siphon as well. Sorry, say that again.
What have we bought so far?
We bought a mask and 2 little orbs of power plus 1 armor.
Oh yeah, you guys let me know when you guys want to spend an hour and who gets them to upgrade your AC. So whoever has an AC of 17 or less can use it.
Uh,
Yeah.
who do? Because I do. I don't know if who else is squishy.
I want to
Actually, I
say
believe.
Gizzard, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I want to
I'll
say
check my
Gizzard and
ACs
Darcy.
just in case, but I think I'm fairly squishy. Let's see.
So yeah, if you
So,
look at
yeah,
your
what
character
is your
sheet,
AC?
armor class. So yeah, you have a
Yeah.
17, so you could use it as well.
Cool.
All right, Miss Darcy, what's your AC?
17.
All right, so you each get 1, and you'll both have 18 as ACs, and that's the max it does.
Yeah, so it'll take you an hour to do that. Do you want to do that now or later?
Might as well do it now while it's on our brains.
Okay.
Okay.
So Darcy and Gizzard, you can add +1 to your AC. I think you can do. Let's see. No, you want to give a bonus. Let me see how to do that. I don't remember. I'll figure out how to increase your guys' AC, but you guys are going to both get +1. So I'll just figure out how to increase it so it's proper. And then because you use the 2 items, everybody gains 2 experience points. So,
Yay.
so the hour passed. So what do you guys do next?
What's the level we are supposed to be at right now?
We're at level 14, but we just got enough points to get to level 15 with a dedicated long rest.
Awesome. So we have 6 points total.
We have 4 points total.
4 points.
Okay.
Awesome. Look at that. An AC boost and a level up. Moving up.
So I'll write this down to make sure. So Darcy and Conglomerate, not Conglomerate, Gizzard, +1 AC. So I remember to add that. Okay. Cool. So your hour passes. You have a bit more money. Cyclonin and Conglomerate have not returned yet, as far as you know. So what do you do?
Back to the Codex salesman.
Okay. You arrive and he sees you coming and he says, "I see you would. I knew you'd be back eventually. So how many of these philosophical works are you going to purchase?"
Well, not all philosophical works are equal. Which of these are the most comprehensive? What can tell us the most about this city, and what can tell us the most about Keurig in general?
Oh, I see.
I mean, there's
You're
many.
you're a man of discerning tastes. Very well.
Yes.
So he he kind of shoves most on the side, and he pulls out this one that's twice as big as the rest, and you can see that the edging of the book has has this kind of pure white clay edging around it, and you can see that the title is all white and everything, and says this is by one of our most renowned philosophers. Now, Normally, I would. Most of these are worth 100, like I told you before. But if you want the best, you're going to have to pay 150.
All right. And can I peruse the book first, or must purchase before opening?
You can for a few minutes.
Right. And Judge is going to go ahead and flip through it and just try and get a general sense of how complete this is. I mean, is this more fluff crap like what the other guys were doing, or does this seem to be real intellectual material?
All right, go ahead and give me an intelligence or a history check.
All righty. Um, and can I guidance myself?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. It's certainly a lot
Okay.
better than the direct the so-called philosophers near the gate were spouting.
Yeah. Okay, so got to pay 150 for this.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So he hands you the codex, and so you got enough of a look at it that here are the things you realize. Um, so it's going to take you a good 24 solid hours to read. I don't mean straight. I just mean over time.
Uh-huh.
And the benefits of reading it only apply once per person. Um, upon reading it, you gain access to knowledge checks regarding Carrig philosophy, because right now you don't know any of it. So there's no checks you can make. But with this, you could actually make those checks, and it'll reduce the DC for most diplomacy checks with Carrig by 5.
Okay.
So it has mechanical benefits. Once you
Right.
read it, once you
Awesome.
spend the 24 hours to read it, of course. And obviously, once you're done reading it, you can let other people in the group read it. It doesn't disappear after one reading or anything silly like that. It's just you got to actually spend the in-game time to do it.
If we are waiting here to be allowed past the barrier and we are waiting for our friends, we have several hours left. How's about we find a nice quiet spot and I can read it out loud to everybody, or at least to you two. Unless there's anything else we would be liking to do. Did we want some of that
That's good.
healing fruit?
Yeah. Well, Darcy kind of wants to see everything that's available before she starts spending what she just gained, because she's going to have to play again to get more.
Yeah, and I think we're going to have to spend money further in the city, so I don't necessarily want to spend it all now. But if you wanted one of
Exactly.
the healing fruits,
So one thing you should do
okay.
know is the guide said that once you go to the shops and everything, and you learn what questions to ask, then you can go back and ask them questions.
I'm not 100% sure that I've learned what questions to ask, but we can definitely go talk to him again.
To
Okay.
the fish market man.
No, the guide.
No, I want to talk to the fish market man.
Oh, you mean the food
Oh,
merchant? Sure. You arrive and
okay.
it says, "Welcome back. How can I help you?"
You know about the dregs, right?
Yes. So, as you probably are aware, the Carrig don't don't the air beneath the memory of the sea doesn't hurt us, and so some of us, while we can sail up on the memory of the sea with the iron boats, we can use regular boats, non-iron boats, to sail on the river at the bottom of the sea and walk it and whatnot. And so the the Carrig have multiple ways of dredging food uh, from the seabed. And yes, we basically either from the surface or from the river beneath, we go around and we collect all the various edible foods. And the Carrig have a good understanding of how to avoid the predators, and there are some nasty predators down there. Um, and we find the rare but very useful fruit of the dead there, as well as the more common dredge leaf and sand nuts, the flutes, the rare ghost eel, and rare emberries as well.
What do you know of the giant eel?
Ah, those. I'm not sure who created them or where they came from, honestly. But they were here when the memory of the sea was an actual sea before the Sorg drained it. Anyway, they are intelligent beings, giant creatures as well. I believe you have creatures called whales. Well, some of the eels dwarf even your whales.
We
And
met one.
oh, you've seen one.
Yes.
And they, as far as I can tell, the eels that live now are the same eels that lived in the real sea before it became the memory of the sea. They are ancient beyond imagining, and so they have gained much knowledge. And sometimes it's said that they dream, and sometimes they see mortals or gods or other creatures in their dreams and can see various branches of the future. Perhaps one of them will seek you out to tell you of such a thing at some point, if it hasn't happened already.
Are
There
there
are
other intelligent beings
they are
other
everywhere.
than the eel?
Most of the creatures of the deep are just regular creatures, the crabs and so forth. But various sharks and so on. But there are a few intelligent races. There's us, the Carrig. There's the Dradkin. Of course, the Jorn. There are others as well, but my memory goes hazy of them. It's been too long.
Why do the Dreadkin? Isn't that the pale people?
Yeah.
Why do they hate your kind?
Perhaps that is a question for the guide.
Fair enough. Do the giant eel, do they ever eat your kind or bother your kind at all?
No, we get along well with them. Good thing, because if they decided to come eat us, I'm not sure there's anything we could do about it. As he kind of describes the power of the eel, it kind of reminds you of things you've heard in the past, such as about the Tarrasque and so forth. Um, you get the impression that it's at least a CR30 creature.
Yeah, it's a big fella.
Yes, before one of those eels, I believe even your kind would struggle. But I see no reason that you would ever need to fight one, unless you do something very, very, very foolish.
Fair
Darcy.
enough.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, sorry. All right.
Fair enough. Thank
So, do you wish to buy some fruit of the dead or some dredge leaf or sand nuts, flutes, ghost eel, or emberries? You won't find prices cheaper anywhere else.
Wasn't the rest beyond the ghost fruit just kind of just food?
Yeah, the fruit of the dead was really the only thing with other effects other than the emberries, which just make your face purple.
I'll take one fruit of the dead.
Okay, he hands you this pure white fruit, and so it's 75 gems.
All right. Fruit of the dead, fruit of the dead.
So
We
let
have
me
like
go
a little.
ahead and post what it does. Fruit of the dead. There you go. So its stats should be in the chat.
Okay.
It's incidentally the only thing you found so far that can actually, other than rest, that can directly cure exhaustion.
All right.
Although some rest is still required, but at least it's guaranteed, and with a short rest, not as much rest.
All right.
All right, so what do you guys do?
And it was 75, correct?
Yeah, 75.
All right. Poop, crack.
That's weird. What is that?
I was trying to cut and paste the information on that book, and it wouldn't let me.
Ah.
All right. We got one emergency fruit.
Okay, so
Okay.
for you guys, it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So what do you do next?
Well, we can go talk to the guide again if you wanted to ask him about the anything, and then we just have a book to read and kind of wait. I can't think of anything else, at least not until we get
Explore
out
the
of here.
rest of the place. Explore the rest of the place, more or less. But yes, talk to the guide first to get the lowdown nitty gritty on why those two hate each other.
All right. So as you walk back, the guide looks up, and he says, "Normally there would be a once per day there would be a procession, an armed procession through the lost districts to the Gazaba for the guests. However, for some reason, that has been put on hold. Beyond that, for five for 5 gems, you can ask me questions. Questions that might be interesting to you would be divine artifacts. There are several in the city. It might be various races or things you've heard about. It might be the various the districts on your map, such as Mezaba or Uspire and that sort of thing. So generally, for your 5 gems, you can ask up to 5 questions. So, do you have any questions to ask?
I do.
All right. All right. I will take 5 gems, please.
Yep. Handing that over.
You have 5 questions. Here, what's your first question?
Why are you in the pale people sighting?
That is a very good question. You see, there. First, I will tell you about one of the locations on your map because it is relevant. So there is a place, the Dredziba. If you look on your map, you should be able to find it. It is somewhat southwest of here. Anyway, there you'll find 3 large buildings, and it used to be a Dradken enclave years before hostilities began. But unfortunately, the Dradkin were breeding Hylian Gorgons and cave drakes, and it is said, and from what I understand, it's still there. They were even hiding a divine artifact there. It was clear that they had machinations that were a danger to the city, and then they were removed from the city. Now, they, of course, they had their excuses and their lies. Um, and unfortunately, one thing that is true is that their settlements they're struggling because they're having trouble. There's less and less good dirt for them to grow their crops in. You see, unlike the guests, they still need to eat, and unlike us, they cannot breathe the air beneath the memory of the sea. And in fact, back then, the city was in better shape, and they could breathe freely in the Dredziba. Not so now. It is filled with the air from beneath the waters, or beneath the memory of the sea. So they've had discussions with us, and then things spiraled out of control and turned into hatred. I don't know all the details, but it is clearly their kind that started this, and it is their kind that must pay the price. Do you have a second question?
Is the artifact that they have hidden still there?
I believe so. I believe there are a number of divine artifacts that remain in the city from everything I have heard, and the Dredziba is one of those locations.
Do you know what these artifacts are and what they do, or only of their existence?
I know of their locations. I do not know what they do exactly. I do know that they contain the power of the gods. They are divine artifacts of some form or another. They were at one point very precious, and we would have guarded them, for the gods would have left them in our care before my time, of course. But now, little we can do. If others were to retrieve said artifacts, I doubt most people would even bother complaining now. Well, in most cases. If you enter the Tower of the Moon, well, that's a different matter, but that is a different question. Do you have a third question?
Where is this artifact?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Where is the nearest artifact?
I'm not sure. Well, actually, perhaps I'll answer a different question. There are 4 places where I believe the artifacts exist, although the last one is the most tenuous. the House of Eyes, the Dradziba, the Goziba, and the Gretziba. Although the last one seems iffy. You can, if you want, in other questions, you can ask about those specific locations. So that would be your third question. Do you have a fourth question? A suggestion would be if there are any locations on the map that you're interested to learn more about.
Ba-dum. Can't really
Or
see
any
the map.
other people or pantheons such as yourselves that you are interested in.
Oh, well, there's a couple. If you have the map pulled up, there are a couple of places. And if you wanted to ask about the pantheon that we're kind of chasing, I don't know. To your questions, I didn't know if I'm trying to help throw some ideas at you.
The off limit, is there the I guess the forbidden area or the off limits area where they always have guards go through?
Oh, you want to learn about the lost districts?
Yes.
So, as you can probably tell, there are many of the Carrig that are piled into the guard area, into the plaza. And that is because, other than the Gaziba district, most of the other districts in the city are lost. And what we mean by lost is that they have been infested by other creatures. They have been infested by the rust Carrig that have gone crazy. The air is the same as that of under the sea, which means it is difficult to get our guests through, which is why we have specific processions, normally once per day, except for today. So those are areas where, because of these things, the Carrig can no longer live there, except for a few crazies. And most of the city has been lost. There are those Carrig who would infect themselves with the rust in order to become more powerful and try to fight back the city. There are bands of Dradkin who have managed to sneak in prior raids somehow, who still go through the city with mass, I'm sure, or perhaps something else. And it is very dangerous outside this area. Okay, do you have a fifth question?
What do you know the names or the pantheon that came before us recently?
Yes, they are the Tsukihiko. And that is your 5 questions. Do you wish to pay for more? For example, I could tell you more about the Tsukihiko, or at least where they might be. Or I can tell you more about the individual districts on your map.
Tell me more about the other pantheon.
Here,
5 more gyms, I guess.
You got 5 more? All right. So this is your first question. So you wish to
Yes.
learn more about the Tsukihiko. Fair enough. They tricked us into taking them, along with the guests, to see the Gaziba. That is part of the reason why, because of your presence, we are not having another procession today. They promise to return with us, for they are not Carrig scholars or among the dead, so cannot remain. The Gazaba is a very important place for the dead. You can ask about that if you wish. But somehow, the Tsukihiko escaped our oversight, killed several of the guests, and you probably know how bad that is. And they were last seen entering the Tower of the Moon on the top floor of the Gazaba Temple. Do you have a second question?
What kinds of people were they? Like, uh, were they swordsmen?
I will, let me think for a moment. And he thinks. Where is it? I thought I had it on this one. Sorry, give me a moment. Oh, they're there. Yes, so there were 5 of them. Shuten Doji, the drinking boy, a bard. Hanya, wisdom of the Buddha, a monk. Kijo, demon woman, the rogue. Rajan, god of thunder, the wizard. And Jorogumo, spider woman, the binding bride, a sorceress. So I'll go ahead and post that. Do you have a third question?
Tell me of the place they have went to.
Okay, you wish to learn of the Gazaba?
Yes.
Okay, the Gazaba is a walled district. It is one of the greatest wonders of Erminig. The courtyard of pale stone is utterly clear of fallen rock, swept by 20 holes that slide in constant motion. The holes are made by void worms, which you can ask about, whose heads are anchored deep below the plateau. Within that, there is an angular temple that has 3 floors above and 3 floors below ground. That is where we take our guests to stay for some time. The gods are charged with deciding which floor a person lives upon, but they have not been doing so lately, so we have started to choose randomly among the top 3 floors. On the top floor, and these floors, they are far bigger on the inside than even the massive exterior. And so on the top floor is the Tower of the Moon, said to hold a divine artifact. Do you have a fourth question?
You say you are deciding people's fates essentially randomly?
The gods have forsaken their duty, so we have no choice. However, just so you know, there are 3 floors above and 3 floors below. The 3 floors above are certainly much better, and at worst, no worse than the land above, than the 3 floors below. So they are treated as well as we are able, given the space. Do you have a 5th question?
Yes. What do you base your decisions off of, or is it literally random? But don't you do a more conscious choice considering
We choose by bones.
by bones?
Yes, we The effect is similar to your dice.
That
Do you
hardly
wish
sounds like
do
system.
you wish to pay for more questions?
She's going to look at the others.
Well, I have a few questions, but I was letting you have your turn first.
Well, go ahead. I've asked enough for now. So
All
I'm
right.
troubled with the randomness of one's afterlife.
Yes, to roll dice to find out whether or not you get pleasantries or not is certainly disheartening for those who have tried to live a good life and the bad roll of the dice to be punished. Yes.
He
All right.
looks at you quizzically as you say this, and he says, "That is the duty of the gods, and they have forsaken it. Do you wish to pay 5 gems to ask 5 questions?"
I do.
Okay, so
I
subtract
will
5
pay
gems.
5 gems.
Very well. What is your first question?
Okay. First, tell me about the House of Ice.
Very well. The House of Eyes, a dome pierced with hundreds of spy holes. 3 Maneka dwelled here for a century before mysteriously incinerating themselves. Some say it houses a divine artifact. You may ask about the Maneka, if you wish. Do you have a second question?
Yes. Um, I would like to ask about the Mineko. Would that be my second question?
Yes. The
All
Maneka are
right.
man-sized ovals ringed by wart-like chameleon eyes. Do you have a third question?
All right. That's not very explicit, but okay. All right. Tell me about the Earthspire.
Very well. The tall Earthspire houses a scholarly order. Though most of it contain only echoes and empty rooms now, the lower levels are still full of many scholars. Okay. Do you have a fourth question?
This is not a question; it's just a statement. But the other pantheon of gods, they were entering at the top of the Earthspire. Yes, that is what he had told you.
No, they had entered the moon tower at the top floor of the Gazaba. The Gazaba, the Uspire, is in the same district. Is in the Gazaba district.
Okay, just a second. Okay, okay.
So, what is your fourth question?
All right. Tell me about the moon tower. How does one enter? What is housed there, and the importance of such?
The moon tower. So, on the top floor of the Gazaba is the moon tower. None other than the Carrig are meant to enter. However, there is something has gone wrong, and the Carrig themselves can no longer enter. But somehow the Tsukihiko were able to do so. In the moon tower, there is at least one artifact, and I believe there is the crystal of purest clarity. I am less familiar with that, but there is a massive crystal cylinder there as well, in addition to the artifact. That is all I know about the moon tower. Do you have a fifth
Not
question?
how, not how to enter or anything with it.
Unfortunately, since the Carrig are no longer able to enter I no longer know how to enter.
Oh, okay.
But the
All right.
Tsukihiko did, so there is a way. You have a fifth question.
Well, you had spoken about this border here, the energy barrier, and you have spoken about the parts of the city that have been lost to Keurig control, and how the big blue orbs with purple fire underneath create what can be considered air for us all to breathe. Is the rest of the city like under the memory of the ocean? And if so, how do any of the Draken or any others actually
It is not.
go into it?
The rest of the city is above the memory of the sea. However, since the city has fallen, the air has become the same as beneath. The only place other than the only places where that has not occurred are here because of the barrier, and of course the guard area, the port of Ghosts, and for some reason the Gaziba district. Do you wish to pay 5 gems to ask 5 questions?
Um, can I reserve that for possibly later?
Of course,
Miss
you
Darcy,
can
is there
come at
anything
any
else you
time.
want?
I should warn you, though,
Eh,
there is no procession
Yes.
today to the Gaziba because you were here. Have a good day.
So we are waiting here. Okay. Well, Miss Darcy, did you have any other questions for him at the moment?
Not now.
I believe with what he had said, the plaza that we are in, the Gredzub district, which is directly in front of us if you're looking at the map, and the Gozub district, which looks like it's up on a higher portion, seem to be the only ones that are not infected by
No, the
unbreathable air.
Gretzaba is also affected, but the barrier here, and he
Okay.
points. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Barrier here, and he points at this this line here. Um,
Mhm.
Everything beyond that, except for the Gaziba, Gaziba,
Is
is has the same air as beneath the memory of the sea.
Then how do people get from here to the Gozba district?
Do you wish to pay for 5 more questions?
Damn it. I do not have 4 more to follow it at this exact moment in time.
You do not need to use all 5.
I could come back and ask them later.
Okay.
All right. Subtract 5 more. That leaves me with 100. Okay, how do people get from here to everywhere else if, aside from this barrier here, it is all like under the memory of the ocean?
There
Do you
is a
need the masks?
procession
Does
that
everybody have masks?
there's a procession that normally happens once per day, led by mini guards to protect the guests from the dangers of the city. And while such a thing would be very dangerous normally, the large crowds and the limited amount of time means that there are rare casualties. And you see those giant orbs with the fire beneath. We have one of those that is portable on wheels. And we take that and we take the bubble of breathable air with us until the
Okay.
guests arrive at the Gaziba, and then we return with it. And so this is why
Excellent.
we have to plan this in advance. However,
Okay.
while you are here, there will be no more processions.
So wait a second.
So, do you wish to ask another question?
All right, I have the most obvious of questions, and I'm going to kick myself. But since we are here in the plaza, you are having no more processions to the Gosop district.
That is correct. Do you have a third question?
That was not the question. The question is, are we, the Godlings, not allowed to the Gosop district? Or will you
I
have a
understand
procession
what you
tomorrow?
were. Very well. We will treat this as your second question. You see, the Silky Hiko, they tricked us. They tricked us into taking them there, and they were to return. We have found that the Godlings are not to be trusted, and we allowed you into the city because, well, I'm not sure why, but nevertheless, you are not allowed to go to the Godzilla.
Not all Godlings are the same. Our purpose was to stop them from doing what they were doing. You understand this, yes?
Well, I understand what you were saying, but I do not believe you.
Okay, turning to Darcy. Well, this is the only place we are allowed to be on our own. We do need to continue forward. If you thought anything that might be helpful, I'm kind of running out of useful questions.
Well, we could ask more about the different districts.
The districts that we're not allowed to get to. Oh, here's a question then. This arcane barrier. It merely keeps the air in and the bad air out. It does not stop us.
No.
Or does it?
It is a barrier. The creatures cannot come through, and nor can they escape. While the barrier is up, even we cannot go through. We must temporarily remove the barrier in order to pass through and put it back up once we're through. Do you have a fourth question?
All right. Very well. I will have to ask. Hypothetically speaking, if we wished, regardless of your opinions, if we wished to pass the border, the barrier, how would we do this?
He says, "I will not take your fourth question. I cannot answer it. You can
Very
choose
well.
another fourth
Two
question.
questions. I shall choose another fourth question. And so I have my fourth and fifth questions. I can come ask you two questions at a later time. Anybody else? Miss Darcy? Mr. Gizzard?
I have a question.
Gizzard, do you have anything?
Not particularly. I missed a little bit of the start of this because I didn't realize my laptop was at like 2% battery and it died. So I missed a little bit of this
Well, you'll
of
see
this
some of
conversation.
it in the chat. Like you have a list of divine artifacts. You can see in the chat the different districts that have those artifacts. You can see the name of the pantheon, and you can see a list of the members of the pantheon and what they are. So that wasn't all of it
So
that you
he's
missed, but that was at least some of it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And he's charging 5 cyan gems for 5 questions. The problem is,
I get that.
the problem is apparently he's telling us about all the different districts of the city, but the air in the rest of the city is like the air underneath the memory of the ocean and will just suffocate after like 10 minutes or so. And we can't get through the barrier to get out into the rest of the city anyway. That's what we're trying to figure out. Because we know that the other godlings got up there. We need to get up there too, but he is being less than forthcoming.
This mask that we were trying to get,
We have
doesn't that allow you to breathe under it?
We have 3. Yeah, you don't have to ask him that question. We have 3 masks.
No, I know. Yeah, I was asking you that question. Okay, so
we have
I
we have
suppose then
3
we need to get
masks. Yeah.
yeah. So
I
the
don't
goal is
know.
how do we get 2 more?
Yeah. Either it's 2 more masks or a split the party group of 3, and I'm not sure about the prospects of either one of those.
Yeah.
Well, I can interject. Your other option is to figure out how to allow one of these processions to go along with it.
Yeah.
Gonna figure. Okay.
Because you could breathe while in the procession because they take one of those portable things with them, so you can at least get to the Gazaba district and the U-Spire.
Okay, which is where the other godlings are, and we definitely want to get there soon. Because if we have to wait a whole nother day, that's a whole nother day that they're ahead of us. We're just waiting for.
We don't know how much ahead of us they already are, anyways, because it took us a while to even get here.
True.
And it did.
So them being ahead is already said and done. There's no real feasible catching up that's gonna matter.
Actually, there might be.
When we find them, we find them.
Right. Well, the thing is, there might be some feasibility, because I can't say for certain, but I have just a couple of hints, a gut feeling, if you will, that in order to enter certain portions of the moon tower, you need a key to do it. I believe I hold that key, and that means that the other Pantheon might not have it, and so they might be stuck at a place, which is where we could catch them if they don't decide to give up and leave. Or maybe blow a hole through the rock to get in. I don't know, but I believe there's a time delay that they're going to hit, and that we have the chance. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, have we asked any questions about like what? Okay. Have we asked any questions about what this mask is, where it comes from, anything like that?
The mask is made by the Keurig, so it's just a thing that they can manufacture, but they need some ore from a really far-flung place to make them, and we can't get all the way out there and back in this short time span we've got here.
Yeah. Interesting. And there's nowhere in the town accessible that sells these masks.
Actually,
that isn't just that one weird one.
Actually, there is at the Crystal Place. The first thing I bought there was the one mask that they had, and the 2 plus
right.
1 bonus gems.
Yeah.
We together don't actually have enough cyan crystals to buy a second mask for 500 cyan crystals.
Yeah. I suppose the question is, how do we easily get more crystals? Like, what can we do for someone?
So I would help
actually,
you out there.
that would be.
They only had the one mask, so if you were to find more masks, if there's more masks in the city, they're in the areas you can't access right now.
Yeah.
But there's a good chance that you'll find some masks there because other people must be using them.
I suppose we could go, like 3 of us could go on some sort of expedition, right?
Yeah, so 3 of us could go on an expedition, hopefully come across a couple of Dragkin wearing masks, rip the masks off their face, and then bring them back to the other 2 party members. But we still need to get past the barrier or find a way to be allowed to join a procession. And they don't trust godlings, so that's going to be up to the people who talk better.
I say that we stop buying more questions for now. Wait for Kong and Cyclonin.
Yeah, that's what I was going to think too.
And then make some sort of like party that goes out and searches for 2 more of these masks. Or at the very least explores where we can't.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Good guide. I'll come back with my last 2 questions later.
Very well. All right. right, so I think that's pretty close to the end. So we'll go ahead and call it here. So Cyclonin
Is,
and
is
Conglomerate.
there any way to fast forward? Is there any way to fast forward time for when they arrive?
Oh, you guys just want to wait the rest and waste the time until they? Sure. Okay, we can do that real quick. So let's go ahead and do that. You guys gonna hang out in the plaza?
Yeah, I'll just. Since we can't get past the barrier, yeah, we'll hang out at the plaza, and I can start reading aloud to Darcy and Conglomerate the philosophy book. We can get a few hours into that 24-hour period.
Fair enough. I wonder why that's not working. Oh well. All right, so let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you get 8 hours. Actually, are you guys going to take a long rest? Because sorry, I'm going to back up to like 8, 9 o'clock. So Cyclonin has not yet arrived. So it's and you're getting tired. It's about time for a long rest. So you guys going to take a long rest, or are you going to stay up?
Do we have? Did they give us a place where we could rest, or are we just laying down on the street?
Well, you can go back to the port of Ghosts and rest there. You've been told that now that you have had access to the city, you can come back.
Okay, so yeah, we can go back to the port, and that's where Cycloning can find us most easily.
All right, so I'm just going to move you guys back over there. All right, so you go back to the port, and then you go to. Are you going to go to your rooms and rest, or are you going to stay up?
Room.
Room, yeah, we'll go to the rooms.
Okay, so.
Cycloning should find us there.
All right, so you take a long rest. Are you going to take a long rest?
Yep, might as well.
Okay. All right. So then at 11:30 is when you and Conglomerate get back. Cyclonin, once you get back, you're in the boat at the dock. What do you two do?
This is probably where I'd be talking to Conglomerate about this stuff. This is probably a good spot to call
Okay,
it.
fair enough. So when we come back, it'll be 11:30. Everybody else will be in the midst of taking a long rest. Conglomerate and Cyclone have just arrived back in the boat, and we'll go from there. All right. So
Let's go.